Yeah.
Hi, welcome to another BioDevils podcast, and today we're going to be talking about three separate gaming shows, that being State of Play, Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox Showcase. And I'm joined by a number of guests with me today, so let me go ahead and introduce them. First up, we got Mr. Brandel. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
God, please help me, please. I want to be.
Oh, God.
We're cutting that out. That's cut out.
He's black. He can speak on the.
He's black, so
Alright,
he can get away with
Oh, yeah.
Joke's
that's
on
rough.
you, man. I'm talking about M. Bison. What the hell are you guys talking about?
Oh yeah.
Joke's on you. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, what are you guys talking about up here, man? I'm talking about M. Bison, man.
You know, they've erected statues in his honor. Bison.
Okay. Well, anyway, up next we got DevilHunterJames. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Jones. Hi.
All right.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Great. Giving people potatoes.
All
What
right.
is this, Ireland? Like, what?
Alrighty, and then after that we got Mr. Eli Gamma. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Still waiting for Half-Life 3.
It's never happening.
Keep waiting.
Yeah, wait, bitch.
After that, we got Mr. KaptainKaos. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? Another year, another games conference. More disappointment, more disappointing than the last year. I guess we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, and last but certainly not least, Mr. PsychoRender. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, it's me, Martin, Mr. Darth Vapor. Hello.
Yeah, so
All right, you got your one, mister.
yeah, he's got the one puff rule, or one vape rule, I should say, right? Well, anyway,
snort.
jokes aside and stuff like that, and I just fucking slapped my mic, so excuse me there.
I swear to God.
It's really close to my hands. I'm sorry, but let's go ahead and just kind of talk about the positives and the negatives of all three game shows. So we're just going to start off with State of Play and just kind of work our way down. So any positives that you guys want to share right off the bat with State of Play?
Huh. Now I think about it, I'm kind of struggling. Hold on. Well, okay, so for the new stuff, I gotta appreciate them finally giving us Ragnarok on PC because it looks fucking amazing. You know, the graphics and stuff. After Exile 2, took me by surprise. Dynasty Warriors Origins and Monster Hunter Wilds for obvious reasons. Monster Hunter game, Rise Up. Yeah, that's about it though. Just some of the games though, granted, some of them already been announced, whatever, right? But the new stuff that we did get, was alright.
Mm.
No, I ain't complaining from the old new stuff. But some of the other new stuff that we got, I generally don't know what the hell they're thinking here. But we get to the games when we get to them. That's all for positive.
Anybody else?
Yeah. No, I looked
Yeah.
for.
Go ahead.
I thought the new Dynasty Warriors looked fucking cool.
Mhm.
It looked like they were actually utilizing modern hardware for once. It looked pretty promising. We haven't gotten an actual game like that in a while, so yeah, it looked fucking promising. I love the dudes being slaughtered on screen. It was like millions of them, right? I was
Yeah,
like,
and well,
damn, murder.
I'm gonna slow you down right there because we'll definitely get into talking about more of those games in depth for sure, right? But as far as the show overall, right? Like what did you guys like about it?
No, that was it.
That was it. Dynasty Warriors. All right,
And no argument here.
all right, fair enough.
No argument here.
Yeah, I guess for me, probably just it's cool that I guess we're finally getting a port of Until Dawn on PC. I really like that game. It's one of the few, well, probably the best game that I guess Supermassive has made. I mean, ever since then, they've just been trying to make the same kind of game, and they haven't been too successful.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much.
Trying to emulate it, but haven't really succeeded.
God of War Ragnarok on PC, I guess, is somewhat of a positive. Honestly, to be completely honest, I don't really care. I liked 2018 for what it was, but after hearing about everything that happened with Ragnarok, I can't really say I'm too excited to play that game. But I'm glad, I guess, it's getting a PC port.
Don't blame me for that.
I guess, it's cool we're getting a new Monster Hunter game. I still need to get into that the Monster Hunter franchise, but I mean that's a positive. I've heard people say the Astrobot game looked good, but I don't really have much of an opinion on that. I mean, I think it's based on the Astro's Playroom thing, which I mean, it's.
I will say, like, Astro's Playroom was a surprise hit, and I was surprised how much effort they put into it for a free game. It was actually really good. So for them to make their own full-fledged game, then it is actually a very net positive. Finally, it was something different.
I feel.
Yeah, we finally have something different, and that feels like a game from the PS3 era now. Because we've been liking a lot of that stuff, like Little Bit Planet, for a while.
Yeah, I guess that's about it for me. I mean, there's not really too much else, to be honest. A lot of the other stuff ranges from meh to just kind of bad to me. So yeah, that's about it.
Minutes on an Overwatch clone.
Oh, Concord, yeah. We need more hero shooters, obviously.
Yeah, we get there when we get there. Oh boy.
Yeah. Anybody else want to go before we start talking about the negatives for State of Play?
I'll hop on and chime in that Astrobot looks really good. Like, that was the surprise of the show for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sony finally remembering that they made platformers instead of third-person dad simulators.
Alrighty, and then I guess James, do you have anything to say before I go ahead and start mouthing off about State of Play?
No.
Okay. Alrighty. So, as far as like State of Play is concerned, like when it comes to the positives, like, I thought like the hypest thing that they had there for me was Dynasty Warriors. I have not been hyped for a Dynasty Warriors in a long time, and we'll get to more of that a little bit later. Interestingly enough, I think this was like the only VR game on there, Alien Rogue Incursion. Something that I kind of harp on Sony a lot is that, like, okay, they have a VR headset, and I criticize them a lot with the PSVR 1, but by proxy the PSVR 2 as well, is that there's not a lot of like hard-hitting titles for the platform. So it was nice to see that they actually did something with it. Not them directly, but they announced something for it, right? As on that show.
Well, can I chime in real quick?
Yeah.
I actually kind of disagree with them not having titles for PSVR 1. 2, they definitely don't have enough right now. And I'm wagering because of the budget and shit that's going on right now in the industry. Might have something to do with it. But I'll let you finish your point, and I guess chime in on the big news about it.
Yeah, it's just more of my opinion regarding VR is that, like, I just feel like there's not a lot that's like enticing for it, right? It's mostly like stuff that's very gimmicky that's around the VR headset, which I understand why it's there, right? Like they're trying to get people interested in VR, right? So they need to have those gimmicky titles for a reason, right? But I feel like there is a lack of maybe developer interest to make something very interesting and hard hitting for the VR to make it stand apart from just your typical like gimmicky VR game. So that's why I'm
I kind of agree with you. Like I think it's just a good thing that they're announcing games like that because they have released like hardware worth what, like $700. And there's like barely anything on there, so like I feel like
600, I think.
Yeah, something like that, right? So it's just like those people need something to play. Come on, right? I mean, like they've been buying equipment for $600, whatever.
Well, and the PSVR 2, by the way, like it's not selling that well. Like they stopped producing them for a little bit just because they want to sell out the ones that they've already shipped out to stores. So right now they're just trying to focus on selling the damn thing, right? I think what's really helping their case though now is that they've announced an additional attachment to where you can hook up the PSVR 2 onto your PC, which means it has more compatibility outside of just being used on the console, which I think is great. It gives more incentive for people to purchase a PSVR 2, especially if they can use it for both their PS5 and their PC, or if they just want to strictly use it for PC VR gaming, right?
I guess stepping on that one real quick.
Yeah.
This is something that I really criticize Sony on this one. Like I can't afford a lot of VR stuff, right? I'm invested into it because I like what the hardware where it is and what developers can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But for Sony's case though, the reason why I was very critical of them not having a PC option right from the get-go is because the competition has gotten a lot more fierce between the bigger juggernauts like Facebook and the other companies. It's not Valve though. That the other one's skipping me at the moment.
The Oculus
But
Rift?
like the competition's gotten Oculus. Like the competition has gotten very, very, very big, especially among the bigger players, right? So for them to not have the option to have it on PC right from the get-go, well, it honestly cannibalized their sales because unlike with the PSVR 1, they don't have the advantage of it, one, being cheap and having the install base to have the justification for it to be on their platform only.
Yeah.
Right? And especially at a time where VR was still more experimental amongst the masses compared to what we got now. We have a bit more streamlined experience, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, them finally giving us the option to have it hooked up to PC is a fucking net positive, and I'm hoping that VR2 does a lot better. But I still gotta give them a little bit little kick to the knee right here. The fact that they're charging $60 for the attachment is kind of freaking ludicrous.
Yeah. Well, and
so this is just an attachment so you can hook it up to your PC, basically.
Yeah. Wherever cables that are proprietary to system, you can buy this adapter to hook it up to that thing for it to work on your PC properly.
Yeah. It's $60.
Sony has had a history of just overcharging for stuff. Like, I mean, for their own products.
Most of their own accessories, yeah.
It's a $60 adapter.
The one thing I'll actually give Sony is that when the PS5 came out, you could order an adapter for the PSVR 1, right?
Yeah, it was free.
So it would work with PS5. Yeah, and they would ship it to you for free. That's the one thing they've done that's good with that.
Well, so, and I don't want to turn this whole podcast into just us talking about VR, right? But like, I will say really quick before we let James kind of talk about some of the positives after I'm done talking about them, is that like the problem with PSVR 2 is also that it's not backwards compatible, right? And I think that's what's like not incentivizing for a lot of people, right? In that, okay, like I might have purchased the PSVR 1, but the games that I purchased for the PSVR 1 don't have PSVR 2 support. I know, like, even though I don't particularly like RE7, there's definitely a lot of people that would love to play RE7 on a PSVR 2 if they own one, right? And
unfortunately, the remaster doesn't have one. The VR support to it.
Yeah, so like
it's insane.
So like,
what are they, Apple? Get a new iPhone right now, even though your other one works.
Yeah, so like I think.
Well, actually, yes, because the PSVR 2 has a different controller setup than the PSVR 1.
Yep.
Yeah, that as well, and I think, you know, if they go out of their way to add in the support for PSVR 1 games for the PSVR 2, or at least patch some of those games to have support for both VR headsets, then I think that would maybe address some of the issues there, you know.
And
hold on, I'm just gonna let my cat in here, but yeah, so like as far as any other positives aside from Alien, what is it? Not Silent Hill, but Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, I'm not big on Monster Hunter like that. I've played it extremely casually when it came to Worlds. Like Brandon could tell you, I like barely played it. But I mean, Wilds looks nice. It looks cool.
I still need to touch Worlds.
So I feel like Wilds and Astrobot was a good place to end off the show. But you know, once we start getting into the negatives, you'll see why I and pretty much everybody in here did not like the state of play. Probably the most out of the 3 game shows that were, shown off. But I'll let James kind of talk about some of the things that he liked about state of play before we move on to the negative aspects of state of play.
Well, since you mentioned Monster Hunter, the game does look good. It just hasn't like shown the big stinger thing for me to get into it yet, even though I like Monster Hunter enough.
Yeah. Well, and I would say too, just be mindful we're only talking about the show, so try to save some of your thoughts for every game you're looking forward to when we get to that point towards the later half.
Do you just want an overall then?
Yeah, just kind of overall positive stuff if you can, just like what you liked about it, like what was
there's a good variety of games, and there was a good amount, like Perfect Dark. I guess I'm gonna put it in the middle of positive and negative.
Perfect Dark.
Unfortunately, Joanna's ugly.
What wasn't that?
Wait,
show.
am I
Yeah, that was
crazy?
the Xbox.
You're thinking Summer
Yeah.
Game
Damn.
Fest?
See, this is why it's hard
Summer
for
Game
all of
Fest,
them
yeah.
at once. Because now I kind of blended all the shows together, so I don't know which one's which anymore.
Yeah,
So I'll save that for later.
Second image is what was shown off at State of Play. I'm sorry, Perfect Dark was actually Xbox, and
It is, yeah.
so
Yeah, I was right the first time.
yeah, sorry about that. So just State of Play.
We're just talking state of play. Did we talk about Silent Hill 2 yet? I know you guys did you guys did a podcast about it already.
Yeah, so we did. Obviously, if you're watching this now, we already did a podcast on it. We didn't really talk about Silent Hill. If you want to talk about it, like as far as like if you felt like there was anything positive about it, feel free to say something.
The fog looks better. James's face looks better. There's a lot of good improvements. The combat is not as bad as I thought it would be, so obviously I need to play it to fully judge the combat, because looking and playing is different in this case.
Yeah, for sure.
Overall, I think the biggest positive of the game is graphically it looks nice. As I would hope, given, the game is heavily aesthetic based.
Those
Those are my main positives. I can make fun of Angela all day, but that's the negatives. We'll save that for later.
Anything else that you felt like that was positive about Sony's State of Play, like
Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors was a big surprise, I would say. Graphically, Omega Force has actually stepped up, which is something you really don't see from them. They usually keep it like, because of the nature of the game, they have to keep it laid back graphically.
Yeah.
I think it's an improved version of the engine they were running off of Dynasty Warriors 9. But
They're definitely cooking.
we'll talk more about it for sure towards the later half.
Did we talk about Marvel Rivals?
We did not. I think Eli wanted to talk about it a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mentioned that before we went on there. That I thought it looked good.
Are we in the game segment now? Because at that point, might as well go in order of top to bottom.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, the only way for me to talk about positive is to go down the game list at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about the game list and just kind of go from there.
Concord. Next.
No, let's go in
That's
more
not
detail.
positive. Yeah, that's not positive at all.
No, I'm making it funny.
That's a negative.
It started out promising enough, actually. Like, the initial trailer for it wasn't that bad. And I thought it was going to be like some interesting, like, Guardian of the Galaxy single player type of game, right? It had the same humor. No, it's just another stupid hero shooter with woke stuff in it. So, yeah, unfortunately, it started from positive to very negative. In my opinion.
Can I rant about this for a couple of seconds here?
Yeah.
Please do.
I just fucking hate when companies put out these games that looks entirely like they're laundering money to just feel fucking showtime. 11 minutes was wasted on that shit. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
they had so much buildup. I was like, oh, this could be interesting. And
also,
then
like,
it's a hero shooter, and my interest died immediately. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's funny they spent so much time on that because I think they came out. I don't know if it was like a leak or something, but somebody came out and said that like apparently, like if you want to have a minute or something of your game trailer at Summer Games Fest or at one of these conferences, it costs like about like $1 million or some crazy amount.
250 grand for 1 minute.
Yeah, and then it just keeps going up like a significant amount. Like for 2 minutes, it's like I forget like it. Yeah, about that much. Yeah, it's like, and then it's just even more the longer the trailer is. So it's like, how are they able to afford to show it for so long?
Well, it is a Sony product for starters.
Good.
So
Yeah,
they got money.
I say I know it's expensive because of the exposure, because there's a lot of people watching, but like I would just rather start up a YouTube and post my game on there at that point. I ain't paying $1 million for that. No way.
Yeah,
And maybe they got a lot of money to toss out.
I guess they figured because
know.
that's the best way to get eyes on it is to show it at those conferences.
Summer Games Fest does have a bigger audience.
They're gonna regret that.
I was gonna say, like, regardless of which show it is, I feel like that's probably the mentality is that if going from the perspective of a company, we have a game or a product, right, and we want to show it off, so the best way to do it is throw some money at the advertising. And whether it be specifically for Sony or Xbox or even Summer Game Fest, it means that more people get to see that advertising as opposed to just, oh, it's only dedicated to like whoever is following us on our on the platforms that we're on, right? So I think it's really just to give them that outlet. Now, granted, I get where you're coming from, and that's probably how a lot of indie developers probably go about things like that, is like, hey, they might have a really interesting game that might actually rival AAA stuff, but because they don't have the funding to just throw out advertising like that, they probably choose not to showcase their stuff unless if they get like a helping hand from like a third-party publisher or something like that,
Advertising is expensive, so not easy as people think it is.
I don't know, like I can't fathom how games like that get fucking funding. Like my assumption is that it's just a massive money laundering scheme or some shit like tax
here's the thing too, right? So under Jim Ryan, of course, he wanted quite a few live service games, and at some point he decided to after he announced his retirement, right? Ironically enough, after that, they decided to not go through with some of them. Only half, I believe, are on pause, and the other ones are going forward, right? And Concord is one of those games that went forward. And I legit gotta ask these people, why make a hero shooter? If anything, this would have been a good opportunity to have a co-op shooter going against horse and shit, right? Sure, we got playing those games enough as it is, right? But the hero shooter market is so exaggerated, people don't care about it anymore. I mean, fuck's sake, you literally showed off Marvel Rivals in the same show.
Also, could have filled the void when Overwatch 2 didn't deliver on the PvE, and people were rightfully pissed about it.
Exactly. That right there would have been their big ups, ironically enough, against Microsoft since they own that property now. But no.
And of course, they had to dive their heads in politically and make it even worse. Yeah. They can't stay out of it. No, can't just make a game.
Well, what's the political side behind this, though? I'm curious if you guys don't mind.
Well, for starters, they got pronouns on the character select screen. Why? I don't care. Why is it there? And also, they were extremely anti-white, so they can kiss my Italian ass.
Alright.
Pepperoni and all.
Yeah, I get used to that being a common theme with a lot of these announcements. I would say, because they definitely want to make sure that their protagonists are of the diverse variety. So,
aka the racist variety, we got it.
Yeah, no white men allowed.
Like, I was already not interested as soon as I said it was a hero shooter. Now I'm really not interested. Like, that just sealed the deal for me.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Concord just looked really boring. Just because, like, you know, like you guys said, it was another hero shooter. And in a time when we have things like Overwatch, I think Valorant is another one, right? Where it's, you know, again, a hero shooter.
It's
And
like
then-
Hero Counter-Strike, basically.
Well,
yeah.
it's funny too
Oh.
because wasn't it like at the Summer Games Fest? I think last year was when they announced that game. I think it was Hyenas, which was another hero shooter type of thing,
I
and
have
that
no idea
game,
what it is.
yeah, that game
Yeah,
completely
it was
flopped.
it was Creative Assembly doing it, and then they canceled it because they realized that it was just a money
I don't-
hole.
Yeah, I heard either it flopped or it just didn't get put out. I guess so, but they were like making a big deal about that game because that game got like a lot of airtime. I think like it paid, kind of like this one.
Yeah, I feel like
But-
Sony, real quick, Brandon, like I feel like Sony could have worked with any one of these other companies to show off 11 minutes at the beginning for one of those games instead. Like, if they had opened up with Monster Hunter, right, or like even opened up with Dynasty Warriors, like I know Dynasty Warriors is a very like, you know, niche franchise, so not everybody's into that, like into Musou games, right? But like the way that Origins looked, like, you know, again, like I said, like I have not been hyped for a Dynasty Warriors game in a really long time. Like that would have been the way to do it, right? Or like any one of these other games, like hell, like us even being split on like Silent Hill 2 remake, they could have opened up with Silent Hill 2 remake, and that would have been a better entrance than Concord.
You couldn't have picked the most boring mainstream like thing ever to like put up for 11 minutes is beyond me.
Well, I will say this though, from a gameplay perspective, I don't play these games anyway. The game definitely did look interesting enough from Overwatch, wherever, right? But the one thing that will prevent me from actually playing it or trying it is the fact that you actually got to pay for it. There's no free to play option. Because Overwatch 2 is free to play with a bunch of other bullshit they're nickel and dime you with, right? But the barrier entry is free. For Concord, you got to spend either, I think it was $40 at the lowest and $60 at the highest. I haven't looked at the price in a minute.
They're trying to copy the Helldivers 2 model, where you do have to pay for an online service game.
Nah, they're copying Lawbreakers, dude.
Yeah, remember the Lawbreakers?
Yeah, but Helldivers
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, well, anyway, my point is that the one thing that's preventing me from actually wanting to try it, because I did people interest in the gameplay department, it's the barrier entry. I'm not paying for this because there's other things about the game that seems like a red flag. If the game was fun, it will kick off and nobody would carry it in the day, right? But if it was not fun, it just added another tombstone to the already pile of rocks they have going on for the game right now.
Yeah.
Also, isn't Overwatch 2 free?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So like, why if I really want to play a hero shooter, why wouldn't I just go play Overwatch, which is the free game?
Yeah,
The more accessible one, too.
yeah, like stuff like Paladins and stuff exists too, and it's free, right? It's like
Palia, yeah.
yeah.
Also, the women don't look like ugly potatoes, so that counts. That's a factor. Y'all laugh. That's a factor.
Yep, yeah.
It's true.
I mean, honestly though, like that's kind of irrelevant to the point I have right now for the game. That's like the least of his concerns.
I mean, it's true. You can gauge a game's popularity by the amount of money that's made.
I think, and just
Yes.
kind of going off of Brandon's point, it's just all the other factors going against it that are really hurting it, and that's probably why it's not the most important in this case. So, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, then we got, like, other games, too, in that showcase, like God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. I have no opinion on it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, per se, but, you know, cool.
I say this is great.
Don't care.
This is great. Great.
Accessibility.
It's on PC. Now, that being said, though, like the game is far from perfect, despite what a lot of people like to tell you. But you know, try it out yourself. Hey, you playing, quite frankly, the best way possible is on PC. Let's be real here, man. Better frame rate. You got mods and all that shit. Graphics look better, so like it's the best version of the game out there.
Yeah. If anything, games coming to multiple platforms is a good thing, right? Because like people get to actually fucking play
The only
game,
thing I will say about that too is that Sony, has been doing. Apparently, they're doing the same thing with this port that they did with Ghost of Tsushima, where they're going to try to force people to have like a Sony account before they play the game.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
This
Yeah.
one does not make any sense though. At least with Ghost, it has multiplayer, right? You can at least excuse
Yeah.
that because it came out after. Ignoring the debacle at Helldivers, Sony made it clear up front that this game is going to have you're going to need PSN right from the get go, right? Unlike with Helldivers, right? So ignore that, right? But for I'm about to say Ghost of War, for God of War,
God of
there's no
Tsushima.
reason. There's no reason to have PSN as a mandatory. It should be an option.
Yeah,
Like,
Sony's
I know
been like,
I
Yeah,
know
you go ahead.
Microsoft does the same thing though. His thing, right? So I can't completely shit on Sony for everything involving this because Microsoft does the exact same thing, and we still play their games off the Windows Store or Steam. You know, I can't give Sony all the shit in the world for this, ultimately. But it's still, at the end of the day, kind of unnecessary considering the other ports they have.
to be
Well,
fair,
PC
I don't think
doesn't
there's a
require
lot of
these.
PC players that are playing on the Windows Store. That's like,
No, Raymond, that doesn't matter because even on Steam, you still need to use your Xbox Live account. So regardless, on PC for Microsoft games, most other PC ports, you need to have a Microsoft account enabled.
It's like having an Ubisoft game where you have to verify the key on Uplay or Ubisoft Connect.
oh yeah, I mean that
Regardless
was
if you own
stupid
it.
too.
Yeah, like
It
it's
doesn't get
basically
worse
just to
than Ubisoft.
verify it. Yeah, like
The client is just extra launcher for the game that's completely unnecessary. Like it's just there. I mean, there's there for no reason really. It's just
yeah. So
launch
I
the game
mean,
through the Uplay launcher.
I mean, in the case of Ubisoft, though, they're the worst one because you got to download 2 launchers just for to play one game.
Yep.
At least, whereas everyone else, though, you just need to log in with an account and you're good to go.
yeah, and I was gonna say like at least in the case of like how Brandon you're bringing up Microsoft and in Sony, it just at least the way that I'm seeing this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it just kind of seems like they're making it mandatory because they want to like include things like the trophy support and stuff like that. Which on the one hand I get,
That's right.
on the one hand I get, but I feel like that should also be optional for people that don't care about those types of things. You know.
I agree with that too.
So it's like, yeah, it's, I mean, it's rough. I feel like at the very least Sony should be more upfront about that stuff, but, and not include that for something like God of War where there is no multiplayer, but, it is what it is. After that, we got Dynasty Warriors Origins. Like I've been saying, I've been hyped for this game. I've not been hyped for a Dynasty Warriors in a really long time. It looks really cool. Now, the only thing that I'm concerned about is that it's going to be like Dynasty Warriors 9, which I've only played a demo of. I have not played the full game, but I was not really digging it. But the thing that I kind of took away from Dynasty Warriors Origins, at least that reveal trailer, is that it kind of comes off as like one of the Samurai Warriors spin-offs, Samurai Warriors Chronicles to be exact, where you just play as an original character that happens to interact with the main characters that you normally play in the mainline games. And it just seems like that's the route that they're going with this particular Dynasty Warriors game, just on a much bigger scale as opposed to it locking it to like a handheld experience like with those Samurai Warriors games. But I don't know who else cares about Dynasty Warriors. Yeah.
It looked fucking awesome. I'm just gonna say it. Like,
And no front though, I thought it was
cool.
another Team Ninja game. I was quite surprised to see it was Dynasty Warriors.
Yep.
Dead ass when they opened up with it, that and then also I think it was Where Winds Meet. I thought it was like Wulong, like Wulong 2, you know.
It definitely looks like it.
And I'm not gonna lie, like then like Summer Game Fest and fucking Xbox Game Show, they also showed games, and I was just like, oh, is this Wulong 2? Like, so I think it's just the aesthetic of Wulong's kind of been burned into my retina at this point.
Well, other than that though, like the game looks good, and I hope it's goated.
Yeah.
Yep, just fun stuff.
Okay, and then I don't think anybody cares about like Infinity Nikki or Ballad of Antara or.
I haven't seen enough about that game, but it does still look interesting nonetheless.
I'll say this about Infinity Nikki, right? I think I'm gonna keep tabs on it, but yeah, that's really it. It looks fine.
Yeah,
fair enough.
it's a dress up game with dungeon crawling, I think.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
another
this
Gacha
game.
It looks fine.
Yeah.
It's a very artsy one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we got plenty of those, but yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, that game. Yeah, I was. I don't know what to think about that because I was like, oh, I did see this trailer. I didn't recognize the title, but then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, that's the game you're talking about. Yeah,
Open world dress-up game,
to
that's a
be
first.
honest, yeah, I don't. It has a unique art style. Like it looks interesting. But in terms of gameplay, like it is very like it doesn't really appeal to me, to be honest. Like I mean, except
like
maybe if it was a dungeon crawler, but it's mostly like it seemed like it was focused more so on, I guess, exploration and like you said, the dress up element or whatever.
yeah, it's described itself as an
Barbie
open
girl.
world. dress-up
I'm
game.
wondering if they're trying to like go for like a more female centric audience with that game, or because I can't imagine like a lot of, unless I mean I don't know, unless men want to play it just for the element of like cute girls doing cute things, but I feel like it's
I'm
more
one
so
of them,
targeted.
baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're trying to cater to the otaku culture right now.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Is
I
it
feel
being
like
made
it's
by a Japanese dev, or is it like a Western dev? I wasn't even
it's-
sure.
I can't believe you even
Nikkei,
asked that
so-
question.
No, it's not related to that Nikkei Eli. So I don't know who.
Oh, Nikki. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's pretty
No, it's not
Nikki.
being done by Shift Up.
Yeah,
looks
finally.
like it looks like a cutesy feminized version of Genshin, and it's like you know what? Yeah, I think some people will like that. I'll keep tabs on it. It actually turns out that there's something going on there, but yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, same. I'm in the same boat.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, before you guys started talking about Infinity, that I don't think anybody is gonna care about Ballad of Antara, or I don't know if you guys cared about.
Actually, I am.
Really?
That caught me by surprise. It's a Souls game, sure, but it looks like a lot of fun.
Okay.
The art style for it too is like a mix of Final Fantasy mixed with something out of a Team Ninja game. Like it looks really good.
With Souls likes, for me, you've got to do something really interesting or unique to stand out from the rest of all the other Souls likes, because it's been done to death at this point.
That's why I said, like, if it's not FromSoft or Team Ninja, I don't care about your Souls like game. But this one definitely looks. This one looks great. I should keep a tabs on this one.
I like the female's design. She looks cool.
Thanks, man.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. What? So.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just go.
And then I don't know. Does anybody care about Skydance's Behemoth by chance?
I don't remember what that looked like. Intermission.
That was also, what was that? That was the.
Oh, it's a VR game.
Yeah, that was one of the
game.
VR games. That was the VR game that came before Alien Rogue.
Oh, this game. No opinion. No opinion, really. It looks definitely a lot more interesting than most of VR games, but no opinion, because I can't play it personally.
It reminds me of Dark Messiah, which they should really make something else like that.
That was a really fun game.
Fucking love Dark Messiah.
I love being able to just kick people off of ledges.
Yeah.
I like that you
The
could do like trick throws and like throw something in the air, pick it up again, and like kick it into people. I like stuff like that.
The physics in that game were crazy. I mean, it was also probably because it was made in the Source engine.
Remember the chandelier?
I think so.
Yeah, it was in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played that.
Alrighty, and then after that we had Alien Rogue Incursion. Personally, like for a VR game, like I thought it looked interesting, but like I think one of the biggest issues that it had was like some frame rate issues that were noticeable in the trailer. So hopefully like they fix those issues, but like otherwise I thought it looked interesting. We don't really get a whole lot of like decent Alien games, so it's nice to see that like there's something different for Alien.
Yeah, for sure. I like that they're actually doing an Aliens game in VR for once, because it's like, if you really think about it, it fucking fits.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just having a horror themed game on VR. Yeah, I think it absolutely fits. And I like how they opened up too, where like they show off like the pulse rifle and everything. So it's cool. Like there's gonna be combat.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Did any of you guys have any opinions on Alien by chance?
No.
I mean, it
That
looks
looks
like
neat.
Alien Isolation. So
But we will never get Alien Isolation 2.
nope.
You'll get
Nothing
a
of value is lost.
you'll get a mobile game though that is also canon to it
God.
that isn't good.
I mean, it isn't even so much that I just want Isolation 2. I just want another good Alien or Aliens game. But it's just, I don't know, we're
We got
not
Fire
going to
Team.
get that in.
Yeah. Fire Team's
yeah,
like the
but-
best one so
Fire
far
Team's
Like a
besides
co-op
Isolation.
shooter.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
It's pretty
I'm
fun.
more so thinking in terms of like another horror-focused game. But I mean, I don't know. I guess shooters are fine too.
Well,
I mean, Alien's always been a mix of horror and action anyway, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, aside from the first movie, but yeah.
well,
In
like
fairness, we don't have that many horror titles for Aliens compared to shoot 'em ups, right? So I understand where you guys are coming from with this.
yeah, I was gonna say that too. Like, because in fairness, like we don't have a lot of games based on just Alien. Most games try to do Aliens because everybody loves Aliens, the direct sequel to the original, right?
Yeah.
So like, and it makes sense. I mean, like, you know, you can make a lot of fun stuff with that, but I think there's a lot of opportunity to make really good horror games just based on Alien itself, right? Where they dial things back and just focus on a more slow-paced and darker environment and stuff like that, right? Where you're just all alone. So, and I think that's why like both myself and Chaos really like Alien Isolation quite a bit, because it kind of fits that feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say it's a franchise that could use both, honestly.
Yeah.
But I do think it's time for horror to get another turn.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a franchise that, and to be quite fair, like both Alien and Predator, like they have a bunch of different games that come out for it in
Man, I would
various different
kill for a new
styles.
I would kill for a new I don't want to say AAA Predator, but I would like a story-focused Predator game for once. That really doesn't happen anymore.
We
I
had
mean,
that
I'm
Hunting
hesitant
Grounds
to
like the
ask-
last one.
I'm
Yeah.
hesitant to ask for AAA anything at this point.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I should say AAA because
Yeah.
AAA is not really what it used to be.
maybe a good
I
double
think we should move
A.
on now.
Yeah, maybe a good
That's
double
just
A
top
game.
off.
But some of you guys wanted to talk about Marvel Rivals, right?
I want to go first on this one.
Sure.
Okay,
Alright,
go on.
so, for its gameplay, though, it actually does look really good. I watched other people play, it actually looks really fun. But I cannot tell you how freaking disappointed I was when I found out that it was a hero shooter, PvP. I thought it was going to be like,
Yeah.
you and your friends coming together, beating up villains, in multiplayer style. Instead, it's a PvP hero shooter, man. I was so upset about that because the game actually looks so freaking good and fun to play. But it's,
Yeah, same.
And this was
God,
this is Sony, right? That's doing it directly.
Yeah,
no.
It's
no.
not.
Well, I mean,
no.
it's going to be on PlayStation, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
if
on
going to be
PS5
on
though,
Xbox.
but it's done by one of the Chinese companies, Nexon
NetEase.
or whatever. NetEase,
NetEase.
thank you. Yeah. So so Sony announced that it's coming to PS5 and it's going to have a exclusive skin and it's going to have a beta, I believe. So point is that it's going to PS5, right? But never mind that though. For what we got though, the game does look really good. And it might be successful if these guys can actually keep the game well maintained. Because again, the competition
Well,
is real right now. Because Overwatch still has the hero shooter market by the balls, despite how garbage that game is.
Yeah.
So if they can't maintain the game properly, this shit is over.
Well, Brandon, really quick. Of course, it's a hero shooter. You're playing as Marvel heroes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you walked yourself into that one.
Should have
No,
called it Marvel Mosh Pit because that's what it is.
The only thing I like about this game is that the environments are destructible. Like as you play your match, like the map can change drastically. And
See that
another
building? You can
thing,
blow it up.
yeah, exactly. Like Levolution 2.0.
Crackdown 3, baby.
Another
No.
thing is that each character has a specific move set. Like Spider-Man, he can swing. Other characters can fly, etc.
I would hope so.
Yeah, like it's,
Admittedly, the hypest part of that whole trailer for me was Venom. It was like, yay,
Mhm.
Venom. That's it. I just want to be Venom.
Literally, everyone's saying Spider-Man and Venom are going to be the mains because they look the most fun, which I
pretty
agree.
much, yeah.
Well, and
also got
design-wise, they
Racket.
looked really cool. I'll say, even though I don't really care about hero shooters like that, like they looked cool.
Yeah,
long as I
I'd
get to
suggest
eat them.
checking this one out.
Alrighty. Did anybody else have anything to say before we move on to the next few games?
Put out a beta. There, that's it. That's it for me, at least.
You got to sign on their Discord and do a questionnaire.
Gotcha.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Sounds fun. But then
at
we
least
got...
for PS5.
Oh. Wait, is it coming to multiple platforms?
For PS5
Yes,
beta, you have
PC.
to do a questionnaire on their Discord for the PS5 beta, but you can wishlist it on Steam for the PC beta.
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't hear anything about it coming to Xbox, but yeah, it was on PC first. Then it got announced for PlayStation 5 during the Sony conference.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, and then after that we had Where Winds Meet. I think that was the basically Ghost of Tsushima clone that's set in China. With
This game looks pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. I like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah,
I'll keep tabs on it.
It's it definitely looks very different from what we're used to.
Oh yeah, this one.
It's another very action-y Chinese action in which, you know what, I gotta say, China's good at being stylish. They have really cool-looking protagonists, so I can't complain so far.
This is literally Chinese Neo, aka not Wulong. I like it.
Yeah, like
I welcome the competition.
Yeah, I agree. This is fucking great.
Yeah, I definitely think it has potential, and I like the movement and the art style. I just hope that stays consistent by the time we actually, get to see it in full action and play it, hopefully. So I think this one's going to be one where we're probably going to try to keep tabs on it. Hopefully it doesn't just do like a stealth release or anything like that, right? And then after that, we had the Until Dawn PS5 remaster / PC port, which I know some of you guys were hyped about that. I've never played Until Dawn.
Sorry, I'm gonna keep it brief. So with this though, this seems like it's gonna be a remake because I noticed already from the graphical art style is different.
Mhm.
It seems a bit more warmer, the orange hue or whatever. But that could be for the trailer though. But anyway, point is that Until Dawn was an excellent game. My God, the performance sucked though because there is an unlock frame rate. Play on PS5, you get full 60. Anyway, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm really hoping that the new content justifies itself being a is it $40 or $50 price game? Because the game itself is already old and obviously accessible on PS5 and and the original hardware itself. So I really do hope this game really does justify itself when it fully comes out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was a big fan of it. This is probably one of the best, interactive type games since Heavy Rain.
Mm.
So,
Sean.
James.
Yeah,
Jason.
I'll keep an eye out on Until Dawn if they go forward with the new content.
Yeah.
It's got to bring something new besides graphics to justify the price point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I guess for some people who are just returning to play it, right? I've never played Until Dawn. I've only seen like bits and pieces here and there. So I mean, I don't know. I'd give it a shot if the opportunity came up. You know, I hear a lot of good things about Until Dawn, so it'd be nice to give it a shot.
Yeah. Next game.
Next game is Path of Exile 2. I don't know if anybody cares about that at all.
The real
I
Diablo
am-
4.
Yeah. I tried to get into the first one. I
Mm.
couldn't because it's way too much shit to get into, right? So, Path of Exile
Same
2
with
would be a
me.
good fresh start of me getting back into the genre. Because Diablo 4 is a fucking mess. I don't have 3, and I feel like paying for it now, quite frankly, because it's so old now. I don't care for it. So, I hope Path of Exile is a good way for getting new people in, like myself, or returning people, I should say, of the genre. And it does a good job at making it a bit more beginner friendly because Path of Exile in its current state has so much shit in it that it's hard for people to digest, the content.
Yeah,
And-
even I got overwhelmed by it too.
Because like with Diablo 4 being an absolute mess in its end right now and required to be online all the time, which is idiotic. Now I'm looking elsewhere to get my fix for my devil hunting, devil slaying, Diablo hunting, all that shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I try to like the game, but I think it's a little too complicated. That's saying something considering I usually like games with more depth to them. I don't know. I think what intimidated me off of it, at least the first game, was the fact that I have to search my skills. Like I have to put in the search bar what skill I'm looking for, because that's how many are in that game. It's a little much for me personally.
I'm down to be so I guess we can move on if you guys are done with this.
Yeah, I was gonna say sorry.
Oh.
Like I just had to quickly just kind of get up here. But what I was gonna say was yeah. So I don't really have anything to say about it. I don't have an opinion on it. And we've already kind of talked about Silent Hill 2 remake and Monster Hunter and Astrobot. So if you guys want, we could just go straight into Summer Games Fest and start
Let's
delving
do
into
that.
that. Because
Yeah, I say we go ahead with that.
Left to right, I assume.
Yeah. So
We're going in order of release.
order of release, because Summer Game Fest has the most games that were shown off in comparison to the other two shows, which you could argue might have made it a little bit more boring than State of Play, but I would argue that State of Play was probably the worst one out of the three, just because I felt like most of the games are kind of just I don't really care about it type of deal. But then again, Summer Game Fest had a lot of shit that I didn't care about, and it had more games, so maybe we can delve
Well,
into
it had
that.
more games that I care about, I should say.
Yeah.
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 Microsoft slapped for once.
So
That's not saying a whole lot
Microsoft.
either, though.
Oh, well, yeah, Microsoft did, because they were just a little bit more entertaining this time around. So, but yeah, like Summer Game Fest, I don't know about you guys, but personally, felt like it kind of had the same problem as Sony, where there's stuff that was interesting for sure, but then there's kind of just a bunch of stuff in between that I'm just like, I don't care. Why is it even here at this show? It's a bunch of indie nonsense that doesn't look appealing. And mind you, I like indie games. It's just I don't really care about indie games that don't look that appealing.
Tom doesn't like the artsy fartsy ones,
Yeah,
which
like-
is fair enough. We've been plagued with those for years.
Yeah, I want
Yeah,
to
I'm
see.
kind of the same mentality because a lot of this, I honestly, like, I'm looking at the list and I just do not even, I do not even remember some of these games just because,
Yep.
like, they showed so many games, but so many, it's just so many kind of games that I just don't really care about. Like, and also not to mention I think the weirdest thing was that they came out to announce, I think, a physical release edition of Alan Wake 2,
Yes.
which was hilarious. Like, I wonder if the sales are so bad that they have to try to, try to almost like recoup their losses in a way.
Oh, they had to.
But,
Well,
Yeah.
limit
Yeah,
runs upfront cost, right? So they'll be all right. That'd be alright.
Also,
Yeah,
yeah, Alan Wake 2 has not been doing hot sales wise at all.
yeah.
I think they're just going to barely hit 1 million sales, which is in this day and age that's terrible.
Well, for a budget like that, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, considering how much money they spent, yeah, that game has not made its money back at all.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I'm not too surprised because considering how many people were not having it just for the simple fact that they announced that they were just going to do a digital only release initially because they just didn't want to do a physical one. Like that was literally on their website. So you know, it's like
It's that, and I think it's also just not as good as the first game, from what I've been told by quite a few people who played it. Which I like the first Alan Wake, so yeah,
Well,
it's unfortunate.
I think the biggest kind of middle finger really is that it's an Alan Wake game, but Alan Wake is barely in the game, from what I hear.
I don't think we should diverge too much to the game because we gotta.
But that's yeah.
well,
I just thought that was funny that they announced there's going to be a physical version of it. But yeah, that aside from that, there's not really there wasn't really too much else that like stood out. Oh, I guess was this where they revealed Phantom Blade Zero? Because like that one,
Yes.
like okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
this is where they showed
that
off
game-
gameplay for it finally.
yeah, that game has really impressed me. Like I said before we started recording, I'm glad it's not necessarily another Souls-like, even though it does look like they have taken some inspiration from specifically like Sekiro with the stamina meter. But the gameplay looks fun. It doesn't look like it's, the posture meter. It doesn't look like it's trying to be a Souls-like necessarily. It does look like, I mean, from some of the bosses they showed, it does look like it does look like in that sense it does a little bit though lean into being a bit of a Souls-like with just how difficult it looks like some of the bosses are, how quickly they kill you. But I don't know. I like the game. I'm kind of intrigued by it. I don't know. Everything else is just kind of I don't really care too much about. Just a lot of meh, really. A lot of indie stuff that is kind of like the more artsy-fartsy stuff, I guess you'd say. Also Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That game, like I love the first game. I'm playing through it right now. It's a great game. I just think it could benefit from some better combat, which I'm hoping will have, because a lot of what we saw in the trailer was just kind of it was just kind of scripted, it looked like. But I'm really excited for that. Also, I was really intrigued by Slitterhead. I think it wasn't Masahiro Ito working on that game, or was it
One of the Silent Hill devs, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of got my attention about it initially, but we didn't really know what kind of game it was going to be, and I guess we finally saw what kind of game it is. I will say I'm like cautiously optimistic for it, because like from what I'm seeing of the gameplay, it does look kind of like it looks kind of jank with some of the combat. I like the monster designs, like the creatures look good. I like the style and the atmosphere, but I guess I was expecting it to be sort of more of a horror game, but it's sort of I guess it's more like an action adventure type of game, which I'm not opposed to. But like I said, the gameplay looks a little bit rough from what I've been seeing of it. So I'm kind of wondering. I guess it depends on how it actually plays when you play the game. But just from what I'm seeing, it looks like it might kind of be sort of rough. But
see, I'm glad you brought it up too, because I was kind of disappointed to see how jank it was, because I was like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. I was hoping for something a little bit better.
I'm sorry, what game?
Slitterhead.
It's
I don't even remember it.
Yeah, it's the one that's taking like heavy inspiration from like Parasite, and it's I'm very disappointed with how it's turning out so far. I really hope that they take the time to polish it up and make it look better the next time it gets a reveal trailer or something like that, because like it looks rough currently.
This game.
Yeah,
it looked really good.
It has a good idea, but it needs polish.
Yeah. Like,
only other games that I'm kind of excited for, like Black Myth Wukong, looks like it'll be pretty good. And let's see, Warhammer Space Marine 2. That looks like it'll be decent. The only concern I have about that is that they're like some of the people behind the writing of the game are questionable. I'll just say so. I don't know, but I'm gonna hold off on that game until there's some reviews out for it. But that game, I mean, yeah, I played the first game. First game was good. I'm not a big Warhammer fan. I just like the Space Marine game. So, and this one has like Xenos in it, so I mean that kind of has my interest too.
Are we talking about positives and negatives about the show, or we're going?
I was just going over the positives.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
But yeah, that's just kind of I guess that's kind of it, because I mean there's like a lot of other stuff, but yeah, at least in terms of positives, that's all I really. Oh, I guess Alan Wake would be more of a negative, but I just thought that was kind of. I just like go over that real quick.
some of the positives for me were some of the indies, like the Blumhouse collection that they showed off. Like, the devs themselves said that they took inspiration from like the PS1 era games with their indies, so that's what I'm going.
Oh, was that that? Was that that? I think I know which game you're talking about.
Yeah, they
the
showed off
one
like
with,
6
the
games.
PS1 art style.
Yeah.
they announced 6 total games, so they're all in different styles. One of them is taking inspiration from like 90s styles horror games, and in the one in particular that kind of stood out to me, and I forget the name of it, but it kind of looked like it was taking some inspiration from Silent Hill. So like, you know, it looked intriguing enough. I don't know how people feel about like Blumhouse Studios in terms of like their movies.
They're hit or
Their
miss,
movies,
honestly.
their movies are very, very like hit and miss for me. There are some
low
good
budget.
ones. The problem is that it's a good thing and a bad thing, I guess you could say, is that they give funding to a lot of smaller people with like, you know, smaller projects, I guess. But that can also be a double-edged sword, because then you get a lot of just crap that ends up, you know, getting funding from them, and you know, I mean, it just contributes to the already oversaturated, like, just shitty horror movies that we have. So, I mean, I guess that's my general opinion of Blumhouse. But so I don't know. I'm kind of wondering how they're gonna do with like video games, though.
Look, my opinion with them though is like I do like their movies a lot though, but they have too many things going on at the same time. That makes sense. Because like for every god tier movie they make, they also have a chance of making a really bad movie like Halloween Ends, right? That's the third one. That movie was dog
Yeah,
shit.
I think they did that Poltergeist remake too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I think
so
everybody forgot about that movie.
But they did
For
do
real.
the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid movie though. It's not that great, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
I like it.
Yeah, so
But yeah.
that's kind of why I brought that up, because it's like, okay, well, like I know people are kind of about their reputation, but like I don't think I've ever really watched their movies like that, so I don't really have an opinion on that. Them entering the like gaming space, because it was only announced like a couple of days prior to them showing up at this game show that they were going to be working on games. So I think that's cool that like, hey, you know, they're gonna work on games, and maybe that's gonna be an outlet for some indie devs who might have some promising projects, right? But that's also, if what you guys are saying about how they handle their movies, there's also that potential for a lot of bad shovelware or just very uninteresting horror indie titles that get picked up by them as a publisher potentially, right?
It sounds like they gamble a lot of their money off to these studios, hoping something works out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
I don't- I'm not-
gamble. It's more
I'm not-
like it's more so like they reaching out and try to give a lot of people a chance to make their own thing. That's more their style.
It's definitely a risk.
I feel like they don't. I feel like they don't do enough background research, just from the sounds of it, because I'm not into Blumhouse that much, so I can't say that much. Just based on the way you guys are phrasing it, it sounds like they throw their money out a little too easily.
Well, they see a script, and if they like it, they take it. Like their standards for like their scripts are very low.
Yeah, just from the
Yeah.
way you guys have said it, it sure sounds that way.
They really took off during COVID.
Yeah, because
Well, everything took off during COVID.
Yeah.
Invisible Man, Halloween, 2016. That's the year. Yeah, all those movies like that, man. That's what.
No,
gave them a good
Halloween
reputation.
was 2018.
20. Yeah, thank you. 2018.
We said it was
Those
the
movies
third
in particular-
Halloween.
Yeah,
said
the
it was
third
only
Halloween movie
It is the
was
reboot
trash.
trilogy.
Oh,
Yes.
that was
But-
yeah, no.
But my point is that like the movies that put them on the map was like Invisible Man and Halloween 2018 and some other titles I can't probably think of at the moment because I haven't watched other movies. But yeah, they developed a good reputation. However, though, they're still like any other good studio out there. They do have a lot of bad movies to follow suit because shit happens.
This cast was about video games, right?
Yeah, but we're also
All right.
talking about Blumhouse, who happened to open
Yeah,
a video
yeah,
game
yeah.
studio. So yeah.
Man, I don't care if we're talking about Bumhouse. Let's move on.
Yeah. So
that'd be
Eli,
great.
did you have anything else
yeah,
positive to say before we go on to the
Second
next person?
indie game I can talk about. Killer Bean, the video game.
Yes, it looks stupid,
Like-
but it was entertaining to
I don't know
watch,
whether to say
so-
that game is bad or brilliant, honestly.
It's brilliant because it's made by one dude.
So I did some digging into that. Apparently, this
Yeah.
dude has made like Killer Bean stuff for like years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was an animator for The Matrix.
yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, really?
I could tell.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could tell based on the cinematography.
Yeah.
Critical did a video where he watched the Killer Bean movie. That was my first exposure to Killer Bean.
You know who exposed me to Killer Bean? Fucking Derek, because he was talking about it one time and just I forget if he was playing one of the games or just showing something off for it, but like that's how I was aware of it, right? But yeah, like I said, I think it's like one of those games where it's like it's fucking stupid, but like it's like that stupid that you could just go along with and enjoy it. Like it was just fun to watch. Like everything else like just kind of happened in between. Like I didn't care about, but like that was just at least funny to watch. Like I was at least entertained at that point. So I'll give him that, you know. But anyway, I'll let you continue before I go on with my list.
Last game I really liked, Metaphor Be Fantasio, which is from the Persona devs. It looks like a very cool tech demo for Persona 6.
No, I disagree with that. I think it looks fucking amazing. Like in
Yeah, no,
tech
right.
demo.
Well, you know. I mean, it's Persona's
Yeah,
look
that
like
game
that
has
anyway.
been
People
pretty
like
intrigued,
you
too.
ruin our reputation, Eli. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Shibuya.
Well, Persona 6 is
Well,
going to look the
they're
same
copying
thing, so...
Persona 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same UI.
Well, same developer.
It's more
probably,
stylized.
So
Well, yeah.
Every time I see Atlas put out anything, it's like a new game, or it's always a new version of the game. I'm like, why do people even buy the first version?
Yeah.
I always feel like it's such a waste. Like I'll get the better version a year from now.
Yeah,
Well, Atlas likes to make
Well, it's not
dumb
even
fucking
a year,
decisions
actually.
constantly.
What's
Well,
up,
the point
Brandon?
is that if we buy games, I mean, if you do rebuy another game, then you cannot say shit about buying about Persona or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Devil
but
May
they're
Cry
infamous
special
for it, though.
editions.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. They're infamous for it though, but like my point still stands. Like if you rebuy another edition of a game, then you still.
You're doing
Also,
the same
don't you bring those 3 letters into this? Those
Yeah,
are sacred.
Devil May Cry special edition. You can't argue that. Like, and Brandon has a point. Like, it's the same thing. Just
You're a
in the
special
context-
edition.
just in the context of Persona or SMT, right?
I'm not even grilling on them that hard. I'm just one of those people like they do it so much more than Capcom. So I'm like, okay, I know your thing is gonna be this thing later. I'll wait. Every single
Atlas,
different.
at least
I would. Yeah.
Hold on. Atlas at least has the common sense to space it out. Because like if they're gonna add new content though, they do cook for the most part. So
Yeah.
Well, they
I
cook.
gotta give them credit for that.
I'm not saying they don't cook.
I'll say this. I'll definitely say shit about that. They have released Persona 3 so many times, and I buy every single fucking copy. I'm fucking speaking out on that shit too. I'll give a fuck.
Yeah, let's go, Martin. You and me together.
Yeah,
Handshake.
Even released a remake that doesn't have the answer.
Yeah.
It's gonna be included.
I have a question.
It's gonna be a DLC, you fucks.
So,
Yeah, we released the
Yeah.
question.
all right. So, so you were saying that was your last game to talk about, right, Eli?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm actually excited for Refantasy.
Alrighty. I don't know if either Brandon or Martin, if either one of you guys want to go before me.
Delta Force.
For me, like I'm going to go through the list anyway, though. But the highlights are definitely Sonic and Shadow, Team Shadow, Street Fighter, Wukong, and among other things. So I'm just keep it brief and talk about my positives there. But as far as negatives, there's a lot of fluff, admittedly. Now, I have no beef with indie games whatsoever. Because look, man, if we're going to bitch about AAA games, then like we got like take what we get here for indies, right? If you don't like them, just don't play them. Like yada yada yada, right? But for what they did show, though, it's too many similar games that they show up. Like I almost forgot which one is which, because they're kind of blended together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that's kind of a problem with the show. Like too many samey type stuff, But I was like, I'm not gonna complain about it because like I'm not gonna play them anyway. So why do I care, right?
I'm surprised none of you guys talked about Dragon Ball.
No, we'll get there.
I
We'll
was
get
actually
there.
gonna let someone else to talk about it.
I said though, we have a list of games, man. Like we get there when we get there.
We got a big ass list. So
Yeah,
Martin?
I'll keep myself brief here. Stuff I look forward to, Delta Force. We'll get into that later, right? But other than that, it's like I would pretty much just regurgitate what Brandon said. He was pretty much on point there in terms of negatives.
Yeah. And as for me, like I think Delta Force was the coolest looking thing that they had there, and it's free to play. That's awesome, and it's coming to multi-plat, so it's not like it's going to be locked on just PC. So it's cool. Like we get to play another co-op shooter, slash PvP shooter. So cool. Like I'm down for that, right? Yeah. Like yeah. I'm down for that, and they're remastering the Delta Force Black Hawk Down campaign as well. Which hey, cool. I've never played these games, so like it's definitely piqued my interest to want to try it out with Hawk Ops. So I'm interested in it. I know that a lot of people were hyped for the Street Fighter 2 announcements, or Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 6 Season 2 announcements. Sorry, Street Fighter 2 already came out, and then also Fatal Fury, City of Wolves, right? People were really hyped for that, right? So yep. That was cool. Other than that, like Kunimitsu looked cool. I'm still vaguely interested in that game, so I want to see what Capcom does.
So you did it. We still do it. Kunimitsu.
Kunitsugami. God damn it!
We can't.
It's too similar. It's too
Dom,
similar.
I want her back in Tekken 8.
I agree.
Too.
Yeah. But yeah, Kunitsugami looked cool. Phantom Blade Zero, it looked interesting enough, but
yep.
I felt it looked a little too much like Sekiro. Like I was getting PTSD flashbacks. I was not a fan of Sekiro personally.
Like a bitch energy there.
No, I really look. I'm almost done with that game, and I like don't want to finish it because I'm just like, well, once I finish it, I'm gonna go for my plat run, and I don't really want to do it because it's such a fucking pain in the ass with some of these balls.
I was gonna say, just don't.
But
I finished the game. I ain't.
No,
you don't.
I got it. It's just that like mentality that like I have to have that plat.
It's like an
addict. That I got it. yeah.
Also, I would say, have you seen what I think it was like 10 or 20 minutes or whatever of Phantom Blade Zero gameplay?
I didn't see the gameplay after the show, so
I would say watch that because it's definitely not Sekiro. So I'm actually quite pleased with it.
That's fair. But yeah, like other than that, and then I guess maybe No More Room in Hell 2, because that was that like zombie survival game where like it's permadeath if you die in the middle of a match.
So, it's Left 4 Dead, but if you die, you're dead.
Wasn't it a PC mod? The first one.
It was a Source game.
Yeah, it was a source mod that they released standalone, and it was actually like it is a very good game considering it's free.
Oh shit! None of us brought this up too before we start getting into the negative stuff. Power Rangers.
Yes.
Fucking 5-player Power Rangers beat 'em up. Let's fucking go, boys! Like,
I'm excited about that game, but at the same time, I'm kind of pissed that they keep on using Mighty Morphin because we have other fucking Power Rangers we can use, man.
But they ain't Mighty Morphin.
Man, I don't care what they are, man. L plus ratio me all day you want, man. Fuck Mighty Morphin for a minute. Jesus.
I do agree
It's
with
nostalgia.
Brandon. Like I do agree with Brandon. Like there's so many different iterations of Power Rangers they could have used. Like, I don't know, fucking Ninja Storm. Like,
I like the one where they were all cops. That one was cool.
Yeah, SPD? Yeah, that's also 5
Yeah,
Rangers at the
SPD was
start.
cool. Yeah, that shit was cool. Where is that?
So
I would love to have Mystic Force come back, bro. Like,
You know how you get rid of crime? You beat their ass.
quite literally, and kill them too if you have to.
but yeah, it's 5-player beat 'em up. So that I think that's cool, and they kind of alluded to the Green Ranger being playable as well. They just didn't show him in the trailer, so probably
the white one instead.
Yeah,
What does it mean?
The green.
The green ring.
So I mean, we'll have to keep tabs on that one as well. But I'm super hyped for some beat 'em up action, But that all said, I think that's pretty much what interested me out of Summer Game Fest, because the rest of it was just kind of like, I don't care. It's more indie stuff that just didn't look that appealing. And not all of it looked bad, but there was a lot of it that was just kind of like, this is a waste of time. Let's kind of speed things up and get to the next thing. Like, there was that one game, I forget the name of it, or maybe I'm thinking of the next show because they showed off a bunch of shit too that was not interesting in Xbox. Actually, it was in the next one. My bad. So I won't talk about it.
We're not up to Xbox yet.
Yeah, we're not up to Xbox yet, but Xbox also kind of had this issue too. But a lot of those indie games, I honestly couldn't tell you what they were about because I kind of just tuned them out.
Unfortunately, they're kind of a dime a dozen sometimes.
Yeah. I think if anything, the most interesting, I don't know if you could necessarily call it an indie game, maybe like a AA game that was there, was Mecha Break, that PvP mech game that they had.
It looks stylish. It was fast.
I feel like that game was showed off like twice.
I think it was.
Yeah, like
It
at
was
this show
shown off
and
twice.
at Xbox. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
They had a extended trailer at Xbox's show.
That's fucking hilarious.
So that's what it was. But yeah, it was shown off twice. I think that honestly, out of everything that they had shown off, looked the most interesting. But like everything else was just kind of like, I don't really care. I was just kind of hoping that they would just skip over it and move on to something more interesting. But I have to ask, since I know Brandon is a huge Batman fan. How do you feel about Arkham Shadow, my boy?
Okay, well, I'm sure they showed off gameplay, which I don't think you did, but never mind that. You have no idea how fucking crushed I was when I found out it was a VR game. I actually jumped out of my seat seeing Batman Arkham something related. I was so excited, bro, and like, it's a VR game. I had midlife crisis that day.
All of
I'm
Brandon's
still
hopes and dreams demolished in one fell swoop.
I'm 0-2 right now, man. I just can't cope. I legit can't cope.
Man's got his arm shattered by Batman right then and there.
Yep. I wish he did, man, because,
I can't believe they keep blue balling you like this.
For real, they're like, oh shit, another Batman beat him up. Let's go. Yeah, it's VR. Well, I hope the game is good though, but I'm not playing it because it's for Metacritic, right? So it's not on other platforms, which is another problem in VR space, But whatever. Yeah.
Oh, I just noticed something on this list we haven't mentioned. Me, Martin, and Soti have been playing it. Oh, it's Dark and Darker.
We get there.
We'll
We
get
get
there. We'll
get there.
we'll talk for sure, man.
All right, we'll get there.
So I figured I'd start off with that one just because, well, again, you know, I know that Brandon's into you know, Batman and stuff, so figured we'd just get that one out of the way. Just to kind of go like quickly over these, we had Lego Horizon, Harry Potter Quidditch, and Star Wars
I'm actually looking
Outlaws.
forward to Horizon. I like Lego games, but Horizon, man, like, yeah, that's something that I was not expecting, but you know what? I'm not complaining. It looks fun.
It's also coming to the Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to agree. Like, for some reason, it looked better than the last Horizon game.
Damn.
I don't know what's up with that.
Are we on positives or negatives? I'm starting to forget.
No, we're talking about the games individually
Yeah,
now.
for this, man.
Column A, column B.
But I
Yeah, I
I
agree.
was quite surprised how fun this game looks, how lighthearted it is and whatnot compared to the cringe fest that's the story in the other games. I like Horizon games, by the way, especially the second one, but the story's cringe. Moving on.
I'm more interested in the Lego game than the second game. I said it. I did it. It's over.
Oh,
Bam.
I've never played a Horizon game, so I don't really have an opinion. But I have played Lego games before in my life as a child. So, I mean, hey, you know, cool Lego games. I don't have an issue with them. So, you know,
Yeah, so it's fun too.
yeah, like cool.
How about Harry Potter? Anybody care? Because I was kind of like, even though I like Harry Potter.
I feel
So
like,
that's
so
that's
Harry
where the-
Potter and Star Wars Outlaws are two games that are on that, like, yeah, I'll keep tabs on it list. You know, it's like they don't necessarily look awful, but I'll wait until they're out and we'll see. You know.
So
I
this
have
is
no
where
favorite
the
Star Wars,
Quidditch.
though. But Quidditch, I don't care personally. It's not something I play Harry Potter for.
So this is where the Quidditch mode went for Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, it's the one thing that game was missing.
Yeah, it was the only thing missing.
For sure.
I
Star Wars, it's Ubisoft. I don't care. That's kind of where I stand on right now.
I'm kind of am on the same page with Brandon here, where I'm just like, I don't really care for either game. Like, you know, it's like, okay, these games exist. I know there's more controversy going around with like Star Wars, so I'm not even gonna really get into that. So, but Star Wars just I could care less about, and Harry Potter, I feel like that just they could have easily patched that into Hogwarts Legacy, but they chose to make it a separate thing. So, you know, whatever.
Yep.
You know, no big deal. Anybody else want to share their thoughts before we move on to the next set of games here as we go down the list? No? Alrighty. So next three, and I kind of talked a little bit about this, No More Room in Hell 2, Cuff Bust, which I think I might have stepped out while they were showing that one off, and Neva. No More Room in Hell 2, I feel like looked interesting enough. Like, I'd probably fuck around with it if given the opportunity, but
I have to watch it again because I don't remember the trailer for it, so I have to kind of watch it again.
All right, I have a suggestion here, right? Let's try the first one at some point because it's actually pretty good.
I have it.
Yeah.
I think I have it
It's
too.
free.
I
Just
need
download it,
to-
like, we'll give it a run. Like, it's
I need to
actually
re-download
quite
it.
good. Yeah. And I think it's gonna make you guys pretty much look forward to this one because it looks pretty good.
I have no opinion on No More Room in Hell. It looks good, but I haven't played it. I'm not familiar with the IP, so I won't comment whether I'm going to blow a load on it or not.
I'll say this much about Cuff Buzz. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like especially since in a post-Lethal Company world, this looks like a really fun multiplayer game.
Yeah. It's Lethal Company, but you're breaking out of jail. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it's that one.
oh, that's
with
the
the
one
animals,
with the
right?
animals, right? Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
animals smoking blunts and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like unhit. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Animals are based as fuck.
Play the shit out of that.
Good. It looks like a good fuck around game.
Yeah, you're gonna find out.
Neva is a
Mm.
new game from the guys who made Grease. Which another like I think that's like the first Earthsea indie game that we got.
Yeah,
I played a
and,
little bit of Grease.
Yeah.
That it also has a lot more platforming action stuff to it, I believe. Question
Right.
mark?
I played a little bit of Grease, but I never finished it.
Uh, this game is on my radar, but I'm not going to pick it up day one or anything like that, right? It looks interesting. It looks fucking beautiful, actually, I should say, but I'm not going to go on my way to buy it day one. I want to see more of it, and I pick it up on sale or I get it for free. Point is that I do want to play it, just I'm not going to chill out for it right away.
Right.
Martin?
Sid Meier's
no,
looks good.
I think you
I
probably-
can't comment much on it because I don't play those types of games, but it looks good.
Thanks, Martin. All right, Martin, go ahead.
No. I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay, so as far as Sid Miner, wait, let me name off the next three. So we got Sid Miner, Black Myth Wukong, and Once Human. So as James said, Sid Miner, cool. I don't play this game, so I don't care
Like
personally.
with Civ 7, it's like okay, cool. Civilization's getting a graphical update. You know, it's also not bad games or anything, but it's like I mean they're pretty much the same in a lot of ways. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's cool that they're making a new one, I guess.
Yeah, I have no investment, so I'm gonna pass this one up.
Yeah, I'm indifferent about Sid Meier's, so I don't care. Like, whatever.
All right, well, I guess Black Myth then what should be a shoe-in. I think all of us are pretty hyped for the game.
Yeah,
Especially after certain recent events. Yes, I'm definitely interested in it more now.
I am out of the loop when it comes to like Wukong and stuff like that, so I'm super indifferent.
It's basically just an action adventure game that focuses on Sun Wukong. So
Isn't it just Journey to the West, or am I crazy?
Yeah, it's basically.
yeah, basically.
I'm fine with that because we don't have any games really on that whole mythology. Like, not really.
Well,
Not on
we
this
have
level, I should
one.
say.
We
Yeah.
have one game. It's called Journey to the West, I think. It's
Odyssey,
Ninja
some
Theory.
shit like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
game.
Ninja Theory made it.
Well, there was like a PS1 game back in the day that was also just called Journey to the West, which also was about Wukong. So like, yeah, there's like the game, like there are games that exist based on it, but just not that many.
But they're almost non-existent, just in number.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you listed two, so I'm like, yeah, this really is not a thing that's covered very much. So I say,
only
let's go
is-
for it.
Yeah, not only is it a small sample size, but we don't have one on this game scale. So like, this is gonna be basically a first of its kind.
Unlike Ubisoft, this game actually looks like it's quadruple A.
Correction, the PS1 game is actually called Sayuki Journey West, but basically same idea where you play as Sun Wukong and you go around and go through that mythology basically. But point still stands that like there's not that many games that focus on that, so it'd be cool to play an action adventure game like that. I think
It's actually something new.
yeah. After that, we have Once Human. I'm actually kind of struggling. Yeah,
I'm sure I once remembered what that is.
Is that the one with the like the girl that like teleports or whatever? And
No,
that's
It's like they were like Division, but survival type shit, like
Yeah,
Tarkov
it looked
type.
like a shitty AC clone. I'm not.
okay. Yeah.
There you go. There's an image for you.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I kind of just forgot about it, to be quite honest. I remember it now, but like it's I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Warhammer. I don't know shit about Warhammer, but it looked cool.
4.
It's 3v3
Warhammer-
for story and multiplayer.
It covers my Gears itch, and even though we're to talk later, there is a Gears coming, but this game looks cool. I'm not into Warhammer that much. I played the first one, the first Space Marine game. It's pretty rad. Again, I said it before, but if you like Gears of War, you'll probably like this type of game. Is going for that.
Yeah.
It's
First one was
ironic 'cause the-
fucking cool, and I'm super happy that this second one looks great.
It definitely
also-
looks like it's made by people who are actually fans of the franchise. Thankfully.
Yeah.
It's pretty ironic that the first Space Marine game was overshadowed by Gears of War at the time.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yes, I
no.
think-
Gears of War was a runaway freight train. Nothing was keeping up with it.
Absolutely.
I would say this though, like I'm not invested in Warhammer though. I do like their games for the ones that I did play and from what I did see. So I will say I'm more on the game side of Warhammer than anything else. I could care less about the lore, but I know that's a lot of issues going on there. But anyway, the point is that the games look good though, but not to a point where I'm invested to spend the game up front, unless it came down to other people playing or someone giving the game.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
I'd say Metaphor also looked pretty interesting. Just as a game where you could just switch between turn-based and action RPG based off of the enemies that you're fighting.
Well, for one, it's an Atlas game, so obviously I'm gonna put my eyes on it. And two,
Yeah.
the game is looking pretty different and original from the standard Atlas game, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love Atlas games, and I'm sure it's gonna turn out great.
Yeah.
Right? It looks fucking hype. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'll probably buy it. That's really it.
Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, could be.
No opinion in my case.
So we'll skip over Batman unless if some of you other guys wanted to talk about it, because I just wanted to start off with that one just because I wanted to hear what Brandon had to say.
Isn't he depressed enough?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking at his profile picture.
Yeah, we won't.
Editor, if you could put that in like a screen cap real quick, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
We're no, y'all don't need to know.
It's a picture of a giraffe. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
What he? Yeah.
We'll leave it up to the imagination. How
What
about
he
that?
said. Street Fighter looks cool. Mai and Terry are back once again.
Elena's back.
Once again, man, they've
Elena's
never been
back,
here.
yeah.
Elena's got
Well,
those
I say,
beats
all
in my
right,
head.
let me rephrase. Once again in another fighting game crossover, because they're like the two from SNK that jumped to everything.
Yeah, they're literally the Ryu and Chun Li of Fatal Fury or just King of Fighters, I guess in general. If you won't go by simpler terms.
I want to
that's
ask
fine
you
with-
guys really quick too. I don't mean to interject, but I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about M Bison coming back to Street Fighter?
This is my stage. This is my fucking stage. All right, so going by
Look.
what the narrative is going by, this might not actually be Bison by traditional sense. It might be someone else inside one of Bison's doppelganger bodies, and he's taking up the name because that's what people recognize him as, right? Story reason why it not be Bison. But that being said, though, the fact that Bison in any shape or form is actually back legit pisses me off because Capcom does price itself on the story. If a character is dead, they say dead for the most part. The fact that Bison is back completely invalidates freaking Street Fighter 5 story, right? Now keep in mind now, in the continuity of things, Street Fighter 6 is at the end of the timeline now because it's 1 alpha, 2, 4, 5, 3, and 6, right? So in time frame things, Bison's been gone for a very long time, right? So you could argue in that case, it's fine to bring him back, right? But Bison was in the last fucking game and he was killed off.
Yeah, it's
Let him
starting
stay dead.
Yeah, it's kind of starting to take an issue where they keep throwing characters into volcanoes and then the next game, he's back. Yeah.
Yeah,
I kept making the comparison. It's like Sigma and Mega Man X. He just keeps dying and he just keeps on coming back, even when he really shouldn't be.
Yeah, this is a case where he just should not be, right? Now, from a narrative standpoint, if this is someone else, then okay, I can at least let it slide from that front. Because at least you have people who like Bison will have his playstyle back, just with a different character. But the fact that they call him M. Bison still, I'm not okay with that. They should call him someone else, right? Give us the playstyle back, but call him something else. Not M. Bison.
Yeah, for sure.
I do pride especially as an MK fan, right? I do take pride in how the developers take the story. if there's so much inconsistencies, I will call out and I will be upset about it. And the fact that I'm not the only one that feels this way should tell you right there that Capcom kind of fucked up here.
Yeah.
I'm not in a minority this time.
Well, no, yeah.
As it feels to be the majority.
That's why I had to ask, because I know that there's definitely been like a split in how people feel about it from what I've noticed. I've seen people who were like super hyped about it. They're like happy that they could play in Bison again, or they just love seeing the character come back. And then there are people like you, Brandon, who were like, yeah, I wish they didn't go this route given the context. So I had to ask.
He looks cool, but I do understand Brandon's frustration.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's great
they
that
could've-
it is great that from a gameplay perspective, like people who made him in the past can like, play him again, right? But at the same time, it's like make a different character with his moveset or some shit. Like it doesn't make any sense narrative wise, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with that in mind, though, I should want to talk about the rest of the DLC characters.
Yeah.
I was totally surprised to see Terry and Mai, because I thought they're going to announce Capcom versus SNK 3. But lo and behold, no, they guest characters in Street Fighter. The very first time we get guest characters in Street Fighter. Fucking hype, man.
Yeah.
Fucking excited for this. And then you got
Me, oh
Akuma's
my, I
girlfriend, Elena, coming back. Alright, it's a pretty good DLC pass. Because season 1 was actually a really good season in terms of characters, right? I know people were apprehensive about Ed, but when Ed came out, he is literally the third most popular character that came out. That's in Street Fighter, right? This is before Akuma, of course, right? So we don't know what his stat's gonna look like now when Akuma's out. But yeah, the point is that Ed went from being Ed to being one of the more loved characters from the DLC from season 1 of all the DLCs they got so far.
He just needed a facelift.
Facelift, though, he got a whole ass overall improvement.
Man, I got a whole surgery done.
Crazy.
I played him in 5, so I was very happy when he came back.
Yeah, his new playstyle is freaking hard. Like, he's probably one of the hardest characters now compared to how he was in 5. He was one of the easiest. I think that's it, though, because we don't have a lot more information on the characters now. Just, we got an announcement. Again, out of 4 characters, I'm excited for 3 of them and not 1. There you go.
That's fair.
Now we ask the question of who's going to get more costumes, Mai or Chun-Li? The war rages on.
Definitely Chun-Li, considering it's their character still,
You
It'll
say
be
it now.
interesting to see how they're going to treat the guest characters. Are they going to give them more stealth as well, along with their characters, or what? So this is the first time they're doing this. Unlike in, let's say, Namco's case, right? They have guest characters in all the Soul Calibur games, and Tekken 7 had 4 guest characters, so they treat them equally as everyone else, right? So it'll be fun to see how Capcom handled guest characters in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Tears of Metal.
It's one of those indie
I
games
say.
that looks interesting, and I'll keep tabs on it, like it's on that list, right? But I have to say, like, it is a bit interesting.
That is one of the most edgiest names I've ever heard in my life, though. Tears of Metal.
Yeah, it's like a co-op hack and slash roguelite. It's like, wait,
Which game?
Tears of Metal.
Oh, two.
Yeah.
I don't know why the art style reminded me of what was it, Darkest Dungeon?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So like that's
I'll keep
all
tabs
got
on it. I don't have much to say about it.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
And then,
Oh boy.
yeah, I know some of you guys are really hyped for this one. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero with a release date reveal as well.
I'm gonna
I'm
actually
gonna
pick
keep
this
this
one up.
I'm gonna keep this brief
Yeah.
because there's so much information that came out about this fucking game. It's insane. But yes, I am so looking forward to this fucking game. The only concern I have is the camera, and maybe it's the character selection screen because it looks a little too cluttered. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my
Too
two
much
biggest
Goku.
concerns.
It might not be
It's
done
not
yet.
about, no, not about being too much Goku. The fact that I have every character transformation separate instead of just having you select the character and you select the transformation, like how I did in the old games. That will
Yeah,
make things
Tenkaichi
easier.
3. Tenkaichi 3 had this down pat. Pick a character, and now here's the menu for base and all their transformations.
And not just 3. It's all the games they worked on. Even when the era separation, they still have that in place where you pick the transformation after you pick that version of the character.
I have a feeling it's too early. Like they're probably nowhere near done with the UI yet. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say later it'll be fixed.
Cause I hope so, because like that's just too much right there.
At least it's coming out after my birthday, so hooray! I think yours too, right, Brendy?
October 8th, is it? Or is it? I
Mhm.
think so many
Sounds
games
11.
coming out that month. 11? Yeah, so it's coming out after my birthday.
I'm gonna
Too many
double
fucking
check
games,
that.
man.
But that's a perfect birthday game for me. I've been waiting for a new Tenkaichi game forever. No, I like Xenoverse, but that does not count.
It's 9 Tenkaichi games, so yeah, it doesn't count.
Well,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how many people like, but you have Xenoverse. I'm like, yeah, I like Xenoverse. That's a separate thing. It's not the same damn thing. Stop saying that.
I put it to you like this for
It's the
anybody
8th.
that's watching or listening.
8th.
Anytime James gets the chance to talk about like just the Tenkaichi games or just anything that's not Xenoverse, he'll take it.
It's not like I hate Xenoverse. It's just like I enjoy it, but like I want the fast-paced 3D action from Tenkaichi. There's a reason it is heralded as the best of the Dragon Ball games.
Yep.
And also, or Raging Blast. They're also technically spiritual successors to Tenkaichi.
Yeah.
Sadly, they only had 2 games of those, but yeah. I'm hyped, needless to say.
Yeah. And then after that we have Delta Force, which I know Martin in particular, you're super hyped about that. I'm very
This
interested
is-
in this game.
This is my
Same.
favorite game they've shown over these weeks. I played the shit out of Black Hawk Down and its expansion when I was younger. It's one of the first like real shooters I've actually played, and they're fucking amazing. I think they're heavily underappreciated these days, right? And I'm super excited to see that they're remastering the Black Hawk Down campaign, and that they're putting in like features like co-op. The multiplayer looks very good and stuff like that. Like it looks very promising, and it's gonna be free. Like
Yeah.
it looks fucking awesome.
Free is hard to beat.
Yeah.
I also found out it was very popular in China when it came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Very early
Makes
2000s.
sense. It's a PC title, right? And not many consoles were out in China, so like it makes sense. It checks out.
They were very game restricted, to my knowledge, way back when.
And it
Still going
honestly, like, I mean, the game could be dog shit, right? And that's my biggest fear, right? But what they've shown, and you know, just everything around it and stuff, it looks honestly like, oh my god, like, please don't fuck this up. You guys might be killing it here, you know.
It doesn't look jank, so that gives me hope. I feel like it's a dead giveaway with a lot of free-to-play shooters. I'm like, all right, does it look janky or not?
Yeah, it looks like multiplayer looks like slightly slower COD, which is pretty cool. We haven't had like actual shooters like that in a while.
We haven't had a
that are
good
that are good.
tactical shooter, I would say.
Yeah.
And you know, what irks me is the operators a little bit, but it looks kind of minimal, so I guess it's fine, right? And yeah, like I'm very excited for this game.
I'll say this, at least I'll take that over, you know, having the ridiculous like operators that you get in like Call of Duty, which we'll talk about Call of Duty because
What's wrong, man? You don't like Nicki Minaj?
yeah,
I do.
we'll talk.
Yeah, we know
about,
you do.
We'll talk about Call of Duty obviously when we get to the Xbox One, but like I think that's also kind of another thing too. It's like when there's a shooter like this and it's kind of a good middle ground of like arcadey / tactical kind of borderline milsim shooter. It's very interesting to see that stuff, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And you know, because it's free to play, like that's great. And they did mention that it is coming to multiple platforms, so it's not just PC. It just, I think the technical test for it is going to be PC exclusive.
Yeah, and I'm signed up. I fucking hope I get in. It looks so fun.
Oh yeah, send me the sign up for that so I can try it out as well.
Right now, like holy shit, like I could honestly like make an entire cast with you about this game if you really want. Like,
Well, see the thing is,
I'm that.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for the fact that I've never played any of the Delta Force games, like, yeah, I'd probably be all up for it, but because I've never played these games before, I can't. So
I've never touched these games either.
did anybody else have anything to say about Delta Force before we move on here?
Nope.
Nope. So Fatal Fury: City of Wolves looks cool. I know definitely there's some people in our server that were looking forward to that one as well.
Kaneki.
I definitely am. Now, first, as far as SNK games, I'm more on the casual side of things because I mostly grew up with Namco and Capcom with their games, right?
Yeah.
But I did dabble in SNK stuff, but the fact that we haven't gotten a Fatal Fury game in a long time is definitely a welcome surprise. So, hype.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool. Like, I've been trying to get a hold of like a bunch of the SNK fighters and dabble in those. Kind of what piqued my interest, especially, was when Geese came to Tekken 7 in particular. Like, I just thought he was so cool, so I like wanted to like get to know like that universe and those games a little bit better. I fucking suck ass at fighting games, but as far as like SNK fighters go, like I think what piqued my interest more so than anything were like the Sam Show games, but that's a whole nother discussion in on itself. After that, there was Battle Crush, Mecha Break, and the Bloomhouse games. I don't have an opinion on Battle Crush, but you know, like I said with the Mecha Break, like for a AA game, like it looked pretty interesting because you get to do PvP with mechs. So definitely seems like it's like high action, really fast paced, and just like definitely going to be a really big skill gap for anybody that's going to be really heavily invested into a game like that, which I'm all for.
Sorry, what were the games again?
Yeah, so they were Battle Crush, Mecha Break, and the Bloomhouse games.
Okay. Now, first, Mecha Break. I have no opinions on either of these, but the Blumhouse games.
Mm-hmm.
To give my brief thoughts on Blumhouse, it's good that they're in the development scene. I just hope that the games they produce are quality and they carefully curated, because making games is not the same as making movies, you know. So, go for them to do something outside their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Big old we'll see with them.
Well, we're gonna get a supermassive situation going on, or it's hit or miss.
That's true. But I guess we could move on to the next set.
Yeah. After that, we've got let's see, we've got the Power Rangers game, Deer and Boy, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Yeah, Power Rangers looks fucking hype. Like, I do agree with the gripe that, like, you know, it's unfortunate that they're still focusing on just Mighty Morphin when there's so many different iterations of Power Rangers that they could have tried. But at least the game itself looks pretty cool. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit about Power Rangers as well or not.
Well, sorry, Power Rangers though, it's by the same team that made the Team NT and Streets of Rage games, right? So it's gonna be quality by default anyway. So I'm not concerned about the game being bad or anything. That's it. But no elaboration needed.
Anybody else?
We're gonna beat Rita's ass, and it's gonna be fun.
Bet.
I don't know. Like, Power Rangers looks fun. It looks like a game I'll probably pick up at some point. As for like Deer and Boy, it's like whatever.
Yeah, it's
so
like the
boring.
like that's the first boring looking archetype fucking indie.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Deer and Boy.
No, I still don't remember it because it was that unremarkable.
Yeah, Deer and Boy. I don't remember this one either.
Wait, you don't remember Deer?
And Boy. Wait, I do remember a Deer. I do remember a Deer. But I don't remember the Boy part. Probably because I
Just
was
shoot
hungry.
Bambi and move on, like fucking hell.
Oh, what's this
So
shit?
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I tried to play the first game, but the combat filtered me out,
Yeah, it's fucking
and my
jank.
computer could not, and my computer couldn't run it at the time. It was too much.
It's a cool game, and like I love stuff around it and stuff. It's just the combat is so fucking janky in that game, and I hope that
Yeah,
I
the two
love-
fixes that.
I'm a sucker for historical medieval stuff, so I was like, "Oh, this looks amazing," and it is. It's just one of those things where I really have to like sit down and commit to it.
It's a big skill curve.
This is something
It
that
is.
Chaos would gush over, but sadly he's not here at the moment. So maybe if he gets back in time, he could probably give more insight. But for me, I have no connection, no affiliation with this game, so I don't care
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on it, just because I've never played it, so I'm indifferent.
I need to beat the first game.
Good luck with that.
And then
Yeah.
up after that we have Slitterhead, Killer Bean, and Karen. Not
Karen.
Karen. I don't know.
Cairn.
I think Dom had a stroke. We'll be right back.
That's Cairn.
Potentially, yeah.
Slitterhead. Well, we did talk about it already a little bit.
We did talk about that one a
It
little
was
bit.
like jank.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing with it is that it looked very jank. I like the premise of it, and I like who's behind it, and I'm really hoping that they polish it up to make it look more enjoyable by the time it's getting closer to release. But as of right now, it's very disappointing to how it turned out.
Like watching the gameplay, it looked as jank as that like Tokyo Ghoul game that was released like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like really unpolished and stuff, and it's like 4 months apparently till like release, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh, that was not a good trailer. Like you could see the issues just by looking at it. It's like, yeah. Killer Bean was fire though.
Yo, Killer Bean was
Killer-
hype. I love Killer Bean.
Killer Bean looks like stupid fun, which is something we really need in this day and age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer Bean is super fun. So the game being on brand, it beat those allegations.
It's what we need.
They bean to those allegations.
Haha.
I think a little me just died inside. Hold on.
Okay, as far as Kyrene, they show barely anything about that game. It looks, as usual, it looks beautiful, but is it a survival game or is it a one of those hiking adventure type games, right? Because they didn't show enough for me to give a concrete assessment on what type of game is this.
It looks like one of those hill
We don't
climbing
know.
games that makes you rage. So I feel like this is one of those games that I'll give to my fucking friends on sale just to piss them off. That's me.
Yeah, like,
Oh, that one. Nah, no. I'm not interested
Yeah.
in like throwing my keyboard.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just wasn't interested. It's just one of those. Hey, you can climb. The objective is to just keep climbing, and just, I guess it might be one of those like games that are very how can I like describe it? Like basically like methodical in the sense that it's like you're just doing something that's very specific and nothing else other than that.
Oh,
one
you're.
thing, right?
This is the game where you're climbing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do in that game. It might as well get Jusant, the fucking Don't Nod game that came out last year.
It's just a whole ass climate sim. Okay, well,
Yep.
okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wander Stop. I don't remember what this is.
It's a game made by the guy who made Stanley Parable.
Oh, okay. Is
Yeah.
it also another one of those types?
But there's another thing. It's also got the person who made Gone Home and Tacoma working on it.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going home with that statement.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Alright, moving on.
Oh, that's that coffee game. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no.
where you manage a tea shop.
Oh,
But your
That
character
sounds
also
like
has
a California game, bro. What the fuck?
yeah, but your character also has PTSD, so you know.
Yeah, no. I'll pass.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd rather
How about-
wait until FF16 comes to fucking PC to play a good game.
After that,
Oh, Unknown 9.
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
The girl for this looks like if she was my boss and she would complain to me for literally any reason. She got one of those like. When
Yeah,
you see it,
this
you'll know what I'm
game-
talking about.
This game looks entirely fucking generic.
Yeah, it is basically whatever to me. I don't care.
I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I wasn't very impressed. I just felt like it looked very generic. You know, like a very generic like Assassin's Creed
Absolutely.
clone or something like that. You know, like I don't know. It looked boring, and like I completely forgot about it. But I remember it was in a previous show, and then they showed it off again. I'm like, oh, it's
I'm sorry,
that
what
game.
game?
Unknown 9.
Unknown 9.
7-Eleven, the game. What?
What game is that again? No, 9.
Yes,
Yeah.
see, nobody-
Google an image of it.
Huh,
Yeah, just look it up.
unknown.
That's what I've been
I'm
doing
telling
during this
you.
whole call.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's
Oh!
7-Eleven. The game.
Yeah.
It's my manager.
See?
What James literally said earlier.
Okay.
Okay, maybe it's the lighting. Come on, bro. 7.
It's
11.
kind of
What-
janky too as well from the trailer.
Put a hat on.
Me and
Oh,
Khalifa,
shit,
if she was in a
dislike
Western
ratio, what
AAA
is
game.
this?
Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
What
Never mind.
Then there's
Might have some sweet baby stink on it. We don't know.
Then there's Inatria, which Inatria is another Soulsborne clone, and the only reason why I'm aware of it, the only reason why I was aware of it was because Vadi Video talked about it.
Yeah, and they do advertise it as such too. I'm gonna be real. I like the aesthetic of it. I might give that demo a go, and we'll see. But as it stands, I'm like, eh. But maybe my opinion will change once I've tried that demo.
Is the demo out now?
Yeah, I believe so.
On what platform?
On everything, I
Probably
think.
everything. Yeah.
Alright, I'll try it out later tonight then if I can find it.
Yeah. Then there was the first Descendant, Inner Sloth reveals Outer Sloth. I must have fucking stepped out for that one because I don't remember that. And there's an Among Us TV show now.
How and why? I don't get it.
Unfortunately, Hollywood likes to capitalize on this shit.
I don't have an opinion really on these.
Yeah.
These
And the sloth is from the is the Among Us devs. The Among Us devs made this initiative for other indie artists to release their own games. Basically, give them funding.
Oh,
as far as the
that's what
first-
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so as far as First Descent though, I'm actually very looking forward to that game because I actually want to try it. I haven't tried the beta or anything though, but the gameplay, the art style, all that shit looks really fun, and I hope the game comes out in a good state because I'll be upset if it sucks.
Yeah.
I gotta delete the game.
Hopefully, they support it because we know Nexon they like to cancel
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be free, so you can give it a shot, right? But like, other
Yeah.
than that, I'm like, to me, it looked like Warframe 2 or some shit. It's like,
Yeah, I'm down with it as long as it's a fun game. It could look like a Warframe. If it sucks, then I'm gonna be a very, very upset camper. You know.
Remember Wildstar? Thanks, Nexon.
As for the Among Us shit, don't care, didn't ask.
No one asked for an Among
That
Us
is
TV
true.
show.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
We already have.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, I think that sums up how I feel about it too. Like, oh, it exists. Cool. Moving on.
We already have Danger Force Season 2, Episode 1.
Wait. Okay, so then after that there was Sonic Cross Shadows Generations, Dune Awakening,
X Shadow.
and Battle Aces. Are they just calling it X Shadow?
No.
I was calling
it
Cross.
actually is confirmed now to be.
It is X Shadow.
Okay.
I
okay, my
despise that they did that.
Well, Sega knows the fan base.
No, Sega did the right thing because now I can actually look up the game without looking up
The game.
Yeah, so
Hmm. Don't finish that.
Anyway,
bad. Aren't you?
I want to gush about this game. Oh, something. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say really quick. Aren't you all disappointed that they didn't just call it Sonic.exe Shadow? I'll see myself out now.
No.
Go home.
Anyways, all
No, come to America,
all hail
then go back to
Shadow.
Poland. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Anyways.
Hold on. The floor is mine. So, Sonic
Yeah.
Shadow. This is the game I'm actually looking forward to the most for this year, because it's been so long since we actually had a Shadow property, and more importantly, man, they actually showing respect to the fucking character after a decade and a half of garbage with Sega's decisions with the character. He's not the only offender though, but my God, the butchering of my boy was so real.
Preach.
Thankfully, man, they seem to be turning things around, and I'm so excited for this game. Now, for the gameplay, there's been a lot of controversy around this game, unwarranted controversy, because let's just say that Sonic fans aren't beating allegations of being a bunch of fucking insufferable little shit stains. The game, the preview that came out from whatever gameplay channel, I forgot what they call it. The guy was going really slow, and he's kind of played the game kind of ass, admittedly, right? But he's going really slow, showing off the game. These asshats took that segment and it was ran with it, saying like, "Oh, guys, it's gonna be like Sonic Forces, man. This is gonna suck. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that, right?" God bless this dude named Game Cage, or Fredell as people call him. This man came in with his big brass balls, freaking gals a demo showcase at some of his games fest, and he cooked so hard with that demo. It shut up every single freaking allegation out there.
It looks like Sonic Adventure. Looks good to friggin' me.
It's Sonic Adventure level design with the boost formula from Unleash and Colors on last year, right? Particularly Unleash. I am so happy that this game right here actually has depth. And it actually has branch of paths. It has a lot of things going for it. And keep in mind now, this is a tutorial level. The very first level you can play with in the game. And it has more to offer than most of Sonic Forces as a fucking game. Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Sorry.
Good.
But what's up?
Oh, I was gonna say I wasn't sure about it yet because I hadn't seen too much, and then I saw the demo leak thing of the guy playing. I was like, okay, I want this now. That's it.
Oh, it wasn't a leak. That
I'm
was
sold.
press footage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sold regardless.
Shadow's fatal for actually like putting that into light. That was pretty good.
Yes, thank God for that, man. Because like I'm so sick of this fandom, bro. Like that one YouTuber. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to start trouble or have someone be like, how dare you be mean to this? You toxic positive, some asshat out there. But yeah, that dude over here jumped the gun immediately just from one dude playing the game back. As soon as Fordell came in clutch with that demo, man, he quote unquote walked back to the pen though and acted like nothing happened, some shit like that. No, sir, fuck this community. Fuck this community. All right, my TED talk is over.
Knee-jerking frauds.
My TED talk is over. But seriously,
anyways,
man,
all hail
game.
Shadow.
All hail Shadow. He's a GOAT. I'm looking forward to this game. I want it.
Yes, Venom, Devil Gene, Shadow. Hail him.
Yes.
That's got me the most curious more than anything is what kind of shit can he do with all that?
Yeah, you got.
Well, we won't know until the game's out.
You got a new set of powers called the Doom powers. You got wings. You got Doom spears, which is like Chaos spears and shit. Like, oh god, my inner child is coming back. I gotta stop talking about this.
Also, surprisingly acknowledging his own game because it was controversial at the time. Still kind of is. It's a hit or miss type of game. I still like Shadow the Hedgehog, even though it's a bit of a mess.
What
then again, they reference
guns.
Yeah, I've been making that joke. I've been unironically saying I wish Shadow would actually use guns like he did in the game, but they're not going to do it because they're weenies. But let's just move on.
I'm gonna be honest though, the gun mechanic is so fucking stupid when you realize that he's literally stronger than any gun known to man.
Don't question
So like, give him guns is so retarded.
Don't question it.
I want to see him pump a fucking SMG again.
Hey, that SMG can actually be pumped.
Don't question it. Just
some stupid reason.
Also,
to be fair, Brandon, the reason he has guns is because the fan base demanded that Sonic use guns, so they made Shadow do it because they thought he would fit better. That is the reason why there were guns in that game to begin with. So you can blame the asshat fan base in the first place.
Well, anyway, yeah, we could probably move on since you guys really focused on that. I don't know where Chaos is at because I know he was into Dune, so he probably.
I still have to watch the show.
Yeah,
he's playing Carmageddon on IRL.
And then And then Battle Aces, both of which I don't have an opinion on. So
Same.
I'm not big on Dune. I haven't seen the movies. I haven't seen anything, but I've read the books.
Alright, I got some things to say here. As for Dune, right, it looks like one of those like Conan Exile games. It looks, whatever, right? Now, Battle Aces, on the other hand, that was the biggest fucking cock moment in the show. My fucking god! It's like, oh, it starts. It's like, oh, we got an anime trailer. Oh my god, it might actually be cool. And then it zooms out, and it's like, StarCraft knockoff type game, and I'm like,
oh,
ah! No,
oh, it's that
Smart.
game. Yeah, that was
Alright,
that
no
was
yellow,
whack.
please.
Fuck the Battle Aces.
yeah.
We don't like Battle Aces.
oh that
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah,
why I don't
it's
care
just-
about it.
It looked cool until they showed the gameplay. I was like, oh, all that for this?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not beefing at RTS. I like a few of them myself, but like, really, that was not representative of how the game
It
is.
looks like
Not at all.
Command and Conquer Mobile, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Like making a
There's a
cinematic
franchise
trailer.
that needs a break.
It's like making a cinematic trailer for a hero shooter.
I love RTSs though, but this right here doesn't. This is not it. This is not it.
That was fake. That game's Jordans were fake as fuck.
Yep.
About the finals, I don't even remember what that is.
It's a first. It's another first-person shooter. It's okay. It's kind of sort of a hero shooter, but not really, right? But the biggest appeal of that game is the fact that all the environment is indestructible. So I can literally blow
this
your
one.
Yeah, I actually play it from time to time. It's really fun, but it's very competitive. So if you're not into that type of games, then don't waste your time.
I think you showed me you screwing around with like grenades or something in that, so I do remember that a little bit.
Yeah. I do like the game personally for the most part, but I don't play all of them because like it's not something that I want to invest too much in. I just want to play it casually. But season 3 is looking a bit better than season 2. So here's that.
Mm-hmm.
That was that game where they announced that they were gonna have like that like Japanese setting for season 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese stuff looked pretty cool. Go figure. Wow, shocker.
Yeah.
Oh my God, shit, we still going ham again.
I never heard of that game prior to that announcement, so like I don't know much about it, but it looked interesting enough.
I mean, it's free to play, so if you want to try it, yeah.
I played it during a closed beta test, and it was pretty fun. It's just like, it's not my cup of tea. It's not what I look for in a shooter, but I can respect it.
It's made by some former Battlefield developers, so some similarities may cross over if you play the game.
That explains the destruction aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. Maybe I'll try it. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Alan woke too.
Can I say something about this first before you go on?
Okay.
Like so this is the thing. Like I haven't played the Alan Wake games yet. I've been meaning to play the first game and American Nightmare because I think I have them on PC. But anyway, like I was saying this like I think almost a year ago that like the problem with Alan Wake 2 is that they literally said on their own website like they did not want to do a physical edition because they just didn't want to do it. Like that was their reasoning. It was like in text right in front of like where everybody could see it. And now all of a sudden they're doing a physical edition to also release it with all the DLC. Now, is it good that, like, for people who want to get that game and want to have a physical edition? Yeah, sure. I'm not going to try to, like, say that it's not, but, like, what's kind of annoying is that, like, they waited all this time to release a physical edition when the physical edition should have been there to begin with. And and this is not just exclusive to Alan Wake and Remedy in particular. It's just more of an industry problem where they clearly want to push digital so that way they can dictate prices and dictate when you can get certain games, when certain games will be available on certain storefronts and stuff like that. So that's why I'm a little annoyed. But at the same time, cool. Like, it has a physical edition for anybody that wants one now, right? I don't know if they're letting people get a physical edition outside of limited run though, because I know it is tied with limited run. So somebody needs to correct me on that one.
No, so far it's only stuck with limited run, which is unfortunate because I really don't want to support these guys.
Yeah.
I'll buy it secondhand if possible.
Also, Dom, we did discuss it before, but they're only doing physical, at least in my popular theory for it is, because the game's not doing too hot, and they're desperate to make a sale somehow.
Well,
So now they'll come begging to you, physical lovers, whereas they told you to kick rocks earlier.
well, and to be fair,
what
like
game are we talking about?
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake.
Now.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we come full circle again, huh?
Yeah. Which you know, like I was saying before, like beforehand they were telling people like, no, they're not going to do a physical edition because they didn't want to, right? Now they're doing a physical edition, and it's like, you know, at the time when they said that they weren't going to do one, I did see a lot of people saying, hey, like, I'm not going to fucking buy this game if it doesn't come out physically, which, you know, like, props to those people that did say that, because, like, there needs to be a physical option. Like, I know I personally prefer physical, but given my current, like, situation and stuff like that, I can't just, you know, go out and buy both physical and digital these days, but, like, you know, if I had the option, I would prefer it, right?
Not only is the game digital only, but it's also an EGS store exclusive too.
It was.
I mean, a lot of people. Yeah, but you know, a lot of people.
Wait, it's coming to Steam?
No, I meant the digital part. It was digital only. Now it's coming to physical discs.
Oh.
I don't know if it's coming out of EGS though.
Yeah, well, the thing too with that is, like, you know, a lot of people also weren't buying it as well because it's also just an EGS exclusive, which, you know, was. I mean, that was also my thing too. Even before all the stuff that we learned about Alan Wake 2 came out, I was just like, I don't know if I even though I'm a fan of the first game, I don't know if I want to buy Alan Wake 2 because I don't want to fucking support Epic, because fuck Epic.
It wasn't even on PC, is what you're saying. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like venomous towards Epic though, but like their tactics on trying to make their store more appealing just honestly kind of sucks, because like I know that we're in like other companies do the same thing, like the console manufacturers do it technically, but when you're on a platform that is so open though, trying to restrict it like that is just kind of dumb. Like, because it's one thing if it's their games, right, or they buy games, fine, whatever, right? Because that happened with Rocket League. They bought it, they locked it off from Steam, fine. But when you have Alan Wake, which I understand that Epic funded the game, mostly, right? I get that. But they already have a bad reputation for starters, and they have a very small install base compared to Steam. So you pretty much created financial suicide by not only signing the contract with Epic, but not releasing it on Steam.
Yeah, it goes against everything that the PC platform is supposed to be about, which is just being able to play games wherever, however you want. With the whole exclusivity thing with Epic, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of, you know, PC gaming in the first place. It almost just makes it about as bad as, like, you know, playing on console, with, you know, it just being an exclusive to a certain digital platform.
Yeah, it's heavily anti-consumer. Like you can give Ubisoft a lot of shit for the double DRM they do when they put everything out on like other platforms that are not Ubisoft Connect, right? But at least you're able to buy it in other places, right? It's like I don't know, it's just anti-consumer.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything?
As for the DLC though, I thought it looked pretty good. Like it's. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, just to clarify, are we talking about the Xbox showcase now, or
no?
We're going down the text list first.
Yeah. Oh Jesus! Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're through most of it. Way at the bottom.
Yeah.
What about New World Aeternum? I guess that's how you say that.
Aeternum, I think.
Aeternum? I don't know.
It's an expansion for that MMO. I think Asmund played it. Well, I haven't seen much of it.
I can't speak on it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So I do own New World. I haven't played a lot of it, but it's actually a pretty good MMO for what it is, right? Reminds me a bit of like RuneScape, funnily enough, with the way level skills, but yeah, whatever. It is pretty cool that they're releasing an expansion. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
Dom knows nothing about New Worlds, I assume.
Yeah, I don't, so I don't have an opinion. And then Honkai Star Rail, I don't care about. So that's.
I feel like Brandon's the only one that has anything to say about this.
Honestly, not much to say other than cool. We got a new character and new story coming, so like that's the norm for Star Rail updates. Not much to gush about.
Yeah, it's a
for
content
one,
update.
so for one, though, like I would be our day trying to talk about the game, and two, we gotta move on.
Yeah.
Dark and Darker, not really my thing, but I know some of you guys are playing it now, so
Yes.
if you guys
It's
wanna talk
pretty
about it.
good, actually.
Yeah, me and James have been playing it since the trailer there, because it has been free for a while now, and it's been fun. It's been very fun.
It's a
very
pretty
janky,
original. It's janky, but it's polished enough that it doesn't bother me. Like most of it's fine.
Yeah.
It was way worse when it first came out as early access.
Mm. No, it has some
I
serious
think
potential.
Yeah, it does. It's at least it's an original extraction type of game because it's not a shooter.
True.
It's a medieval dark fantasy game. So there's no other than using a bow and some magic, it's not a shooter. So it's a refreshing change of pace in my opinion. Extraction shooters are like a dime a dozen now. So getting something different, I think, is the right way to go. And I think the game will continue to stand out for being that way.
Yeah, we've gotten hours of fun already, and we haven't paid a dime, right? It's like,
Yep.
Those are the best games.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the finished development of the game. I say finished, at least is it in its complete state? No, right?
No, it's still an alpha.
No.
I look forward to it entering its beta state, I guess, because it's already this good as alpha. I can't wait to see the rest.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with it. Like, so as far as excitement goes, it's up there, right?
Yeah. And then after that we have Kunitsugami, Skate, and the Pal World update. Kunitsugami I'm very interested in. I just want to see what Capcom does with it because it's a new IP in like a Japanese folklore type of setting. So I just want to see what it's going to be like overall. It kind of reminds me.
I need a demo.
It kind of reminds me of like Otogi in terms of the art style. But honestly, like if anything, I just kind of view this game as like, well, it's an experimental game, but it's also the prepare for that asset flip because we're gonna use it for like a new Onimusha or a new Monster Hunter. So
I for a second I thought you said prepare that ass.
Prepare prepare your ass because we're gonna asset flip the fuck out of this, you know. But no, for real, like that's kind of what I view some of these more experimental games. Same with like Exoprimal, which Exoprimal I liked what I played of that game via the beta. I didn't play the full game, but I did think that game would have been better off as a PvE game as opposed to a PvE game.
It's kind of in the hero shooter side of the things.
I wish that game didn't have PvP, but also I wish the premise was different. I give it credit for being original of you fighting dinosaurs in the mech suit, but quite frankly, that seems kind of gotten stale. I'd much rather them take a safe route and you fight against other cybernetic organisms instead of dinosaurs, right? Cause like I don't know, this whole the horde dinosaur thing's just not as exciting as it once was when they first announced. But that's my 2 cents. I think they could just.
I know Crisis Remake one.
Game. Another Crisis.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Eventually,
Yeah, I think
but-
Capcom's just going to keep teasing us and never actually deliver at this point. Like, I don't know.
To talk about Path of the Goddess, though, personally, I am not really invested into it. For what they're showing off, I'm like, I don't know what type of game is this, because I heard it's an RTS, I heard it's an action game. Like, what is this? I just need to get my hands on the game to make my final decision, because I don't think I'll be invested into this title. I give them points for being different and have a new IP coming out, though. But at the same time, like, what is this?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bit burned out on the honor in general. Like, I'm starting to get there, so I'm like, eh.
Burn out what?
We'll see how it goes. No, I'm just
Burn
burned
out
out with
what?
like games like that in general.
Like what, RTS?
Huh?
What, on what games? What, RTS, Martin?
yeah, he's asking you to elaborate.
Oh fuck! I was
Yeah.
confusing it with something else. Never mind.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because we're talking about Kunitsugami.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I confused it with that other game from earlier. That's
Battle
my bad.
Aces?
Yeah, no, not Battle Aces. Fuck. Oh, whatever.
Alright.
Okay.
That's my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were thinking of
Okay.
something completely different. Yeah, I mean,
Skate.
yeah, I was just gonna say really quick before we move on to the skate that I think Kunitsugami, for me at least, is interesting enough because it is different, but we'll have to wait and see how things turn out with that one. Skate had a really weird trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
Not sure how I feel about it yet.
I'm glad they're showing something. It's been.
I'm glad it
forever.
exists, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Then there's the Pal World update, which I still haven't played that game, and I kind of want to just out of spite.
It's pretty fun.
And mind you,
Any chance to shoot at Nintendo, huh?
mind you, I like Pokemon games. But I just want to do it out of spite because I fucking hate the fan base. But I hate Nintendo fan bases in general because a lot of that is just based off of they hold this company up to such a high pedestal because they look at Nintendo via nostalgia goggles, right? And not through a very critical lens of hey, Nintendo does all these things just as wrong as some of these other companies like Sony and Microsoft, right? But for some reason Nintendo could get a pass on a lot of things because they made X, Y, and Z franchise or they own X, Y, and Z franchise, right? When there's a lot of things that Nintendo has done that have been very shady and have literally skewed law in their favor, which is not a good thing, but that's neither here or there, right?
The issue with Pokemon fans and Nintendo fans in general is that they're literal children. So it's they have no comprehension of what stuff actually should be. So they just blindly defend this bullshit all the damn fucking time.
Well, I agree partially.
They're man children too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree partially, but then there's also full-grown adults that literally will defend Nintendo. Just
leave the billion-dollar company alone.
Yeah, the same company that has literally caused companies to go under for offering repair services on 3DSs and modding capabilities for shit that they don't support anymore. Yeah, great company, right? So
We're getting sidetracked.
Yeah, don't want to get too sidetracked, but Pal World, right? I would want to support it just out of spite. The new update also has a Japanese themed and setting, and it looks cool, and I want to try it because why not? But I still have to get my hands on the game. So
I think one reason
Yep.
Good.
No, if you do want to try it, I will definitely hop on with you because I own the game. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah, I own it too.
oh shit, then I could play it.
I think the reason this whole game even kicked off to begin with the way it has is because Pokemon is, as much as I enjoy Pokemon, boy, the games are getting really freaking stale.
Well, there's that, and also Xbox Game Pass gave it attention. So by proxy, the whole industry caught eyes of it because Microsoft was marketing the game. So that helped with the sales on Steam and all that shit.
probably preaching to the choir on Power World, signaling Nintendo to, hey, mix it up with Pokemon already, but who knows?
It's more so Nintendo needs to let Game Freak take a breather because they've been releasing game year after year. And for fuck's sake, they release a Gen 8 and a Gen 9 game within 6 months of each other or some shit like that. Like, they need to
They're
relax.
bigger slaves than the Call of Duty devs. Jesus.
Right? Yeah, they just need a break because they're making too many fucking things at the same time.
Yeah. After that, we got Valorant, another hero shooter.
I don't think
It's
anybody
more
cares,
Counter-Strike.
honestly.
Or Counter-Strike,
I keep
but
saying
like,
that.
whatever.
I will say this: it is cool that console players get to play it, but other than that, I'm like, I don't like Valorant.
Yeah. I don't think anyone on this call likes Valorant.
Martin's like, interesting. Anyways, Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah,
Like-
I played CS2 the other day. I shot a guy in the face. It was satisfying. Yeah.
Look, the
Okay.
only
What's this about Valorant?
the only thing I know about Valorant is that everybody thirsts over Wraith. I think that's her name, right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's all I know about it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody here cares about Squad Busters because it's a mobile game.
No.
Monster Hunter Wilds, like Capcom,
Gameplay.
like made it look so cool, and like I mentioned before, I'm very extremely like casual when it comes to Monster Hunter. So like even Brandon will tell you like I barely played World, but
I swear the only thing I've been seeing about Monster Hunter Wilds on social media is that one female character.
Oh,
that
Gemma?
everybody
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was hoping she would be my handler though, but she's not.
I can see why,
This-
but it's like that's
this
the only
is,
thing I've heard about that game.
This is why I don't, not to side tangent, but I don't get the West, bro. You want a easy way to sell up your game? Hot women. Get on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
Anyway.
It's not-
Moving aside from that, the game looks cool. It's just I haven't seen enough to like get my gears going for it yet. Like I need them to show more mechanics.
But
Like what's
from-
new?
Speaking from as an experienced Monster Hunter player and what the news we got now, they showed a lot of new shit in that trailer alone. So, for starters, like the whole focus mode and other little unique combat, such as you can soften enemies now without needing to clutch all that shit. That's just minor shit. Of course, you guys will understand.
Yeah.
And the new slinger mechanic, right? Obviously, you guys don't know what that is, right? So I won't go into detail. But the point is that it did show, for someone like me to pick up, they did show a lot of new mechanics there. I can't wait for them to show off more. Cause like I think Gamescom is gonna have a booth or whatever with Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking for
So-
more of like a breakdown of it from them than anything
Like,
else.
Monster Hunter is not kind of like my cup of tea, but even I could like see that like, oh yeah, this is definitely a step up from what I've seen so far. Yeah, I hope that the people who are Monster Hunter fans end up enjoying it, and yeah, it looks good so far.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I also heard-
so far, I want this game in my hands right now. I am dying for it.
I also heard that villages can also be attacked by monsters as well.
Well, it's your camp. You can set up.
Yeah.
I think it's something like you can set up camp somewhere, and monsters can actually attack it there instead of just having like pre-placed camps, or maybe that's an addition. That's the
Fair.
information I heard, but I can't verify that because I'm not sure that's someone leaked that out or is it actual information from Capcom.
Mm.
So I won't go into more details about that, but yeah.
I will say that game looks really like it looks really nice. Like I like what they've done with. Are they running that game on REX engine, or is it still?
Yeah, it is RE engine. It's indeed RE engine. My
Well,
only
no. I was
concern
asking,
have
is
right
it
now.
is it the?
Wait, I know. I'm about to answer it. Hold on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, it is the REX engine for so far we got. But my only concern about the game right now is that is it going to run at a good frame rate? Because we already have that problem right now with Dragon's Dogma.
Mm.
So I really hope that WoW does not repeat the same mistakes that
Game.
Dragon's Dogma 2 having.
Mhm.
Mm.
Alrighty, and I think we're all good on that. Then there's just Phantom Blade Zero. I don't think anybody's gonna want to talk about Devolver Direct.
I will say this: that was the game that I confused the other with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just I'm so burned out on games like that, because it's just like we've gone a lot of games that have like similar gameplay styles, right? So it's just like
I mean, that's bound to happen in the industry, you know. So
yeah.
I don't know.
They're not bad games or anything. I'm just like burned out on them so much. So it's like it wasn't anything I got excited for, but I mean, it looked cool. So.
One thing for certain though, at least it's not a freaking Souls game. It's going to have a combat structure of how Democrat is.
Yeah,
so
it does seem like it's more just combo focused, and it's not necessarily like a slow paced like a Souls game, and you know, it's more about the action.
Yeah,
my issue is that I'm not against Souls games. I'm just against bad Souls games because, in my opinion, we have too many bad ones.
I feel like the bad Souls likes are outweigh the good ones. Unfortunately, like there's just way too many people trying to do a Souls like, and they don't really understand how why Souls works.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think the best Souls like I've played has been Lies of P for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I haven't really played too many of them either. So
yeah, I was gonna say.
What are we up
to? Phantom Blade. I was gonna say that I'm gonna have to check out that gameplay because I'm only going off of that trailer that they showed off during the event.
I did watch the gameplay because they did have 10 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, I did.
It was from GameSpot, I think.
Yeah, because I didn't watch that gameplay. I'm saying I only watched the trailer from Summer Game Fest.
Oh, okay.
And the trailer from Summer Game Fest, at least, you know, if what I'm hearing from you guys is not necessarily what the gameplay is, really about. And I feel like that
it's not Sekiro, no.
Yeah, I feel like that trailer was not very. Maybe it wasn't very well edited to really give a good idea of what the gameplay was actually going to be about, because I got the impression that it was basically like another Sekiro.
I mean, it does have some similarities, such as the stagger element or the
posture meter.
Posture meter, yeah. It does seem like there's build up with enemies with posture meter, but it's not like a combat system that's very reliant on parries. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, so I'll definitely have to check it out after the podcast for sure, because
I already sent it to you.
And then I don't know if anybody wants to talk about Devolver Direct. I don't know anything about this.
I haven't seen it actually. So
I didn't
watch it either.
You know,
I don't think anybody watched it.
I suggest you guys watch some of it because those were some pretty good games there.
I watch them on free time, but we're middle of class, so
yeah.
So that leaves us to our final game show, Xbox Game Showcase.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so this one, I would say it was kind of an in-between. It had roughly about the same amount as, maybe a little bit more than State of Play, but lasted definitely longer than State of Play in terms of how much they've shown off. Personally, I thought that they started off pretty strong, especially by showing off Call of Duty. I know that kind of sounds weird, but I felt like that was a strong start for that showcase. I was not expecting them to show it off right at the beginning. I was kind of expecting them to hold off till the end because they had the COD Direct immediately after that showcase. We're not going to talk about that in particular, but I'm just bringing that up in the sense of they kind of just went straight for that as opposed to saving it for the very end.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. Fuck Call of Duty. I'm going to get to the real one.
Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but yeah. But everything else kind of in between, it also had the same issue of okay, well, there were some games that were really cool, like Doom. What is it? Doom Dark Ages. Right?
Doom the Dark Ages.
Dark Ages.
Yeah.
That's my game right there.
That looked fucking sick, right? Now you get to play Panzer
Doom Eternal, but somehow better.
You get to play Doom Eternal.
You fly a fucking dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say you play Panzer Dragoon.
That shit yeah, that shit was like kind of floored me. I was like, oh my god, they're
It was-
actually gonna give us like Panzer Dragoon.
It's a very bold choice to give Doomslayer a shield.
A buzzsaw shield.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, and not only that, but you can now perform parries on certain enemies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like Doom, they started off strong with like games like that,
Mhm.
and then also too we got to see Metal Gear Solid. I know a lot. Like I'm personally fucking hyped for Metal Gear. I don't know about you guys, but I'm
Yep.
pretty certain that's also the case.
I
Um,
I mean, I liked it. Apparently, like people said, I guess they're reusing certain aspects from Metal Gear Solid 5 and implementing it into the game. It looks like,
Yeah.
and they're also
yes.
not like they're not also at least re-recording the dialogue or anything too. I guess they're reusing all the voice lines,
Mhm.
which honestly I think is better. I prefer they do that as opposed to try to like redub the whole game.
I think they were going to try redubbing everything, but they couldn't get some of the original VAs, so I
Yeah,
guess they settled for the latter, which that's fine.
Yeah.
It makes you wish Silent Hill 2 remake could follow the same logic.
Yeah.
Might I
they have
add
the
too really
voice files
quick?
for that game. This is weird.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was
what?
gonna say, might I add that Metal Gear Solid Delta also includes a legacy gameplay option, so you could play it like the original game.
Yeah, a legacy filter
No, it's
and
not.
and control
That
scheme.
controls.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
control
my bad.
scheme, gameplay, camera, and filter. Like all of that. Like if you want to play it like vanilla Metal Gear Solid 3, I don't think they clarified if you can play it like subsistence. I wonder if that's also going to be available as well. But you can play it like classic MGS3 if you want to, and that's awesome. Like that, you know. But
For sure.
we'll get a little bit more into Metal Gear Solid 3 a little bit later down the line here. But overall, right, like the few outliers in the Xbox showcase, I think that's what really made this showcase stand out apart from the other two events here, because there's just more to be like excited about, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely had way more interesting games compared to the other two conferences.
Gears was a friggin' surprise. Really did not
Yeah.
expect that.
I was
I
afraid
was
for a
expecting
second that it was
Gears.
going to be a remake. To be honest, I was like, "Please, no, we don't need a
We already
remake."
have Ultimate,
My-
but I was
well,
expecting Gears. I
yeah.
was expecting Gears E-Day.
I was
them to make
expecting a
Gears of War 6.
prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I raised an eyebrow when
Did
Marcus's
anybody else kind of
bandana-
laugh that they're not doing
Right.
Gears 6 though? Because I mean, to me, that just it feels almost like a silent admission of like, "Hey, we fucked up. You know, we're going to go back."
Well,
to
yeah,
Marcus
because
Phoenix.
Gears 4 and
They said
5
they're-
are
they
like
said-
helmed by a different team.
Yeah, the
They said they're
coalition.
going to
OGs.
do Gear 6.
No,
I didn't get
Gears 6 is still on the table, but they
Yeah.
wanted to tell, quote unquote, tell the story of E-Day. But honestly, I'm in the opinion of they know that people don't like the story for Gears 4 and 5, especially 5, I guess, because I haven't played them. I'm not going to judge them, all right? I'm not a big Gears of War fan.
Yeah.
But the fact that they decided to go this route tells me that they want to appeal to the original audience. They want the original audience to come back.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell it was a prequel until Marcus's bandana fell off, and I was like, "Wait, he doesn't have gray hair. Wait a minute. Wait,
And
Don's
also,
alive.
I already could
Okay,
tell
wait
it
a
was.
wait a
I
minute."
already could tell it was because he didn't have like the gray beard. He didn't look like really
Yeah.
old like he did
Yeah.
in 4.
Also,
Well, I couldn't
also,
tell. I couldn't tell because the lighting was dark too. To be fair.
There's also like no Lancer, or like well, the Lancer didn't have a chainsaw on it. It had the bayonet.
It's a retro Lancer.
Yeah. Well, it's not retro in this case.
No, in this case, it's current.
Yeah.
I was like, Don's like, wait, what is this? Wait a minute. Yeah, they look. They tried this shit with his son. His son's fine. Then the random woman that nobody cares to remember because I sure don't
Cat.
remember her. People are here for Marcus. Like he's the Master Chief of the franchise. Obviously, people want him.
Yeah, it's like to me, Gears of War is almost like, or Gears of War 4, I guess, is like the Force Awakens of Gears because it's
Oh,
just
God.
like the same. Like it's like we replaced the Horde with the Swarm, and now we have the next generation new cast of characters, and they're
Wait,
not
that's how she
nearly
had
as
it.
good as the old one.
I can defend Gears 4 at least that the gameplay was
I did
fine.
at least,
it was
I did at
basically
least
the
kind of
same.
like J. Yeah, the gameplay was fine, and I did like kind of think JD was okay. I actually thought he was all right as a protagonist, but then of course Gears 5 just threw that out the window.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that being like said too, like with all the exciting things too, like there was a lot of bad too in the mix, but I think that's kind of par for the course with a lot of these shows. Need I bring up like things like Assassin's Creed Shadows or Mixtape?
Yeah, don't get me
Don't do it.
started on that. Don't get me
I'll start
started on
singing.
Yeah,
I'll sing. I'll do it.
Fable. Yeah.
Yeah, you one of these allegations, man.
Yeah.
Look, we barely saw any gameplay, so let's skip that.
It is, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think,
Anyway.
I think like overall, like and just before we even got to like talking about the games individually, of course, like just kind of goes to show like the Xbox showcase was just more exciting. Like there's just more like specific titles that were like, yeah, this is fucking hype. Like, that's not to say that they didn't have bad games. Like I mentioned, AC Shadows or fucking Mixtape and Fable. But there were more, I think, more specific things, and they knew how to like just start off the show. Way better start off than State of Play, where they started off with a hero shooter that nobody gave a shit about.
I just summarized it for you. There you go.
The Crimson Chin.
Bro,
Jawline.
I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, let's not.
What?
Oh well, we will when we talk about a certain
yeah.
game.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, well,
Oh Lord!
Look how they massacred my girl. What have they done?
All of them.
so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I guess we could just start going down the list of all the games. I'm just going off of the order that's on the screen cap that we have here on the Discord call. Very first one being Black Ops 6, which again I felt like that was a good way to start off the show, to be honest. Honestly, like I was pretty interested in it. I'm not too thrilled with the fact that Black Ops 2 is canon. I don't feel like that works, considering the fact that they literally make the new Modern Warfare trilogy also canon. And given the fact that trilogy also literally adopted actual modern weapons that have been adopted by real life militaries, like how are you gonna explain Black Ops 2's future story where they adopt weapons that were never adopted by any military to begin with, right? And the jump in
Shut up.
I mean, we'll see what happens. They haven't revealed the future Black Ops 2 stuff, just the past. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. I'm hoping it is just those past segments. But I like COD enough, and I like the Black Ops and just Treyarch storylines in general. But there are just some dumb things they do with this franchise that kind of annoy me. And speaking of dumb things, they've confirmed that every aspect of this game requires an online connection. Which I'm also not a fan of.
Texture streaming.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. Why do you need online capabilities for the single player campaign, and better yet too, even for multiplayer or for zombies in particular, right? If somebody's playing solo or playing against somebody like on split screen or in a like private match, right? Like, why does that matter? If they're, why does that have to be online per se? Like anything that would require, I guess, like, or anything that would necessarily be not necessarily be like co-op or multiplayer related, right? Just more so like single player aspects.
I feel like that's a dumb excuse, especially when that leak about it being 300 gigs. If that turns out to be true, it's like, why the fuck do we need texture streaming?
So that one actually got debunked.
Thank God.
So what that 300 is taking into account is if you were to have Black Ops 6 installed on top of Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3 all at the same time.
That doesn't help their case either.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Still, though, these games take a lot of space. It's like, why be like, oh, texture streaming, it has to be always online now? You know? It's just like, well, what the fuck's the fucking 100 gigs on my hard drive? You know?
Yeah. I feel like they should also, as a like mandatory thing now, every time they release a COD, they should just give you like a fucking 10 terabyte like SSD to throw into your PS5 or, you know, whatever.
As an apology.
Platform. Yeah, like, sorry, we're gonna take up about 300 gigs and that you might have to uninstall like half your library if you don't have one of those SSD expansions. But even if you do, fuck you, because we're gonna take up a good portion of the memory that's on your console.
I mean, like, as for the game, though, I like the changes they've shown and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I definitely wanted to try out the beta, even though I do have those gripes with how they're like handling the story or handling the online components with it. I do want to give the game a shot because it looks interesting enough, and I didn't play the last COD to a technicality in that I only played it on a free weekend. So yeah. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say on this game or.
I have no opinion on Call of Duty until I play it, and quite frankly, I don't care what happens next as long as Warzone is fixed up. Anyway.
Fair point.
Dolphin dive.
Oh yeah, omnidirectional diving is a thing, so now you could pretend to be Max Payne.
Yeah, it looks
that was the main thing that got me to be like, okay, I'll see how it is. At least that's genuinely something new. They haven't done that for once, so hey, hats off for trying something, I guess. We'll see. It looks alright.
Yeah. So then up next we have Indiana Jones.
I actually thought it looked pretty fucking good, and I want to give it a shot.
No, I'm going to tell you why. It's Machine Games. This is the same people that made Wolfenstein: The Woke Colossus. I don't fucking trust them.
I am optimistic. I think it's
No,
gonna be fine.
no.
Nah.
It has the same fucking problems New Colossus had with the really
We'll
cringe
see,
humor and
We'll see.
Alright, well, I'm gonna be all fans optimistic because I'm not gonna play this game at day one unless I get an Xbox. Because quite frankly, I love Indiana Jones, but I don't have an investment into this freaking game. Quite frankly, because one, I wish it wasn't first person. At least it's different from other Indiana Jones games or any games like it. But it's still a first-person game. I'd rather have it be a third person, personally. And two, I want to see how things turn out for the game. If it's going to be as bad as New Colossus, as Gas pointed out, because Wolfenstein 2 was a freaking mess after 2016.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it sucks because the New Order was such a good fucking game, and then like they seriously I mean the problem is like the gameplay of New Colossus isn't bad in my opinion, like the gunplay aspect of it. It's just that for some reason they thought it was a good idea to prioritize the story, which isn't good, and the characters, which aren't good either, and are actually worse than the New Order.
Like I never understood that either because like alright, this is going a little bit derailed here, but like Machine Games is like a Swedish company. Why are they like doing this like weird shoehorn commentary on American politics? It was
because everybody in the world feels like they need to have an opinion on American politics, even though they don't live in America.
Yeah,
ironic. It goes both ways.
That being said, though, like I'm giving this game the benefit of the doubt, and I thought it looked good. So we'll see. You know.
All I have to say about it is choo choo. I mean, what?
Oh god.
I don't know. It's kind of weird hearing a Nazi say choo choo. so like nonchalantly, but okay, I guess.
No, I'll play it. I have a Game Pass sub, so I'll give it a shot for sure. Yeah.
Then we have Gears of War E-Day, which Gears of War E-Day...
James said the worst time.
Yeah, Gears of War E-Day, I don't have an opinion on, but I do know that the trailer for that was completely done in Unreal 5. And it technically was not in-game footage or anything like that. It was just a teaser. So that's the only caveat with that one. But it's cool for Gears of War fans if they wanted a new Gears game. So
I forgot the controversy that happened. Some developer tried to call out Jeff Keighley, and I think that person was actually wrong about the trailer itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I remember the Pal World dev defended him.
Yeah, there was a lot of
back and forth.
But defended who? Defended Jeff or defended the guy that called him out?
No, the Pal World dev defended Jeff Keighley, saying that it wasn't true.
Alright. With that in mind, though, it was just a whole wild ass story that happened. So I'm like, that was funny.
But I'm out of the loop when it comes to Gears. I haven't played the games in ages, so I was like, I mean, it's cool, but like, we'll see. Like, I'll give it a try, probably. So.
Right, well, for me, I am not the biggest Gears guy. I try to get into the series though. Like, come on, I was fully exposed to the Xbox side of things though, but my time went mostly towards Halo with my friends and other games like Splinter Cell. The problem was that when I did try to get into Gears though, it was a little too late because shit happened in life. We separated, whatever, right? But yeah, I tried to play 1. He wanted to play 2. He didn't want to play 1. So it was kind of back and forth. So I'm like, all right, fine. I just dropped the series there, right? Fast forward years later, me and James were trying to play Gears 1 years ago. Like I think back in 2021 or 2020, whatever. The freaking Microsoft Store port did not work because we're co-op for some fucking reason. It was complete ass.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they do something to make Gears a lot more accessible because I want to try this series out. Because they're making it another prequel. Because Judgment is already a prequel, and I heard that game was ass, so there's that. But I want to get into the series though, but I don't have the means to get into it right now.
They need to release like a remastered collection for Gears 1 through Gears 1 through 3 at least. Because like right now all we have is the Ultimate Edition of Gears 1, which is not really a good a good version of the game. And like we don't have ports of 2 and 3, not even on PC, but just not on modern. I don't think they're on
that
modern
is
hardware.
Technically not true. It is on backwards compatibility.
Yeah, of
games.
course you can do that, but I'm saying like we don't actually have like a port to like the modern platforms of 2 and 3.
Yeah, native port. You're right. Okay,
yeah. Like it's not like I'm saying we should have almost something like a Master Chief collection, so that people would more easily be able to play the original trilogy because they for some reason it's just been neglected, and we're focusing on doing this prequel game and Gears 5 and I guess Gears 6 is being considered, but yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the series would honestly benefit from like a remastered collection.
Yeah, I mean, like by that point, they can also put it on PC, right? So more people can play it.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically it is on PC. Like the first game is, but
yeah, but not second and third. Like it's.
Oh well, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Judgment, but if the rumor mill is actually true about, say, Halo coming to PS5, this might be a good opportunity for Gears to come to other platforms if Microsoft really want to be ballsy with it. Because, like, if I could play on my PS5 without me getting an Xbox, then so be it. Or I could play on PC, so be it. Just I want to play the freaking games already. Give me an option.
For sure.
Alright, is Dom here? No, he's not. He's unmuted. Jeez,
He
died.
died.
I guess we're done talking about Gears, so we can move on to the next game. I gotta find out this again. My apologies. Oh, yes. My game. Doom, the Dark Ages. The Dank Ages.
Yeah.
So I like how what I can appreciate them is actually them do something different. They added in more melee combat compared to what we got in Doom Eternal. So we have a flail as a weapon. Ball of chain. and the fact that our shield can turn into a buzzsaw, which is replaces the chainsaw, right? So I wonder what other like wacky ass adventures they're going to do here, because since this takes place in like a medieval setting instead of a more dystopian sci-fi thing that we got from the previous two games, or just in Doom in general, right? How more creative can they actually get with this? Because that will spice things up from how Doom and Eternal are.
Yeah, a lot of the trailer the gameplay definitely reminded me of Eternal, but with some, some interesting changes, like, different, like you said, with the weapons and the setting, of course, being it's more like medieval.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. And also just, of course, the big thing, you being able to ride on the dragon like you're in Panzer Dragoon. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see that much of that. They kind of saved it for the end of the trailer, so I'm hoping that we get to see like an extended gameplay sequence of that. I'd like to see how they do that in Doom. But
apparently, that was also in the Ancient Gods, though. But they might actually flesh this one out more compared to what we got.
But I think that was more like you could like travel using that. I don't think you could actually I don't remember actually engaging in combat on it. I think you just didn't you just use it to get from like another part of the map. I think you just
I haven't played tech, so I can't answer that question personally.
Okay, yeah, because I remember because I did play the Ancient Gods, but I think I remember that's mainly what it was used for.
Okay.
I mean, it looked fucking awesome. I mean, that's all I have to say. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You mean by day card, it's still hard. I'm picking up.
I thought what was really cool with Doom is that they also gave him a double-barreled lever-action shotgun.
Super shotgun. We already have that.
Yeah, it's just because his super shotgun was always like a pump action shotgun, or actually no, correction, it was double barrel shotgun.
You had a double barrel.
Double barreled. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Doom 2016 where he started off with the
have
pump
both
action.
guns. That's why we always have two shotguns: the super shotty, which is the double barrel, and the pump action.
Yeah, and in this one they start him off with a double barreled lever action shotgun, because I'm assuming this game is also a prequel, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel to 2016.
Yeah, so
which I wonder how that's going to work out, because he was locked up for a hot minute.
That's the other thing I'm curious about is how they're going to actually expand on the lore of the Doomslayer.
Because they already did that with Eternal, so what are they going to show us backwards? Because we already know how he got locked up. So, but
I mean, we got
what's this about?
We got allusions to it and teases of I guess the previous Doomslayers and Doom Eternal. And I guess this game is just going to mostly go into that.
Yeah, so you think they're going to lead up into him becoming Doomslayer? Because technically speaking, Doom Guy and Doomslayer, while they're the same person, they're different because of the lore reasons.
Yeah.
I think so, because I think this game's going to lead into 2016. With him getting caught in that sarcophagus.
Yeah, because in 2016, they just found they found him in that what was it, a coffin or something.
In the coffin underground. But I'm pretty sure they already covered that in Eternal, though. But it's been a while since I played it, so I gotta refamiliarize myself with it. But if they didn't cover it, though, this would be a good time for them to cover it in Dark Age. Yeah. I guess with that being said, any other points for Doom? Because we can move on.
No, I just liked how it looks. Sadly, because I get motion sick with the Doom games, I don't think I'd be able to play it. But I think these games look fucking cool. So you won't hear any complaints from me.
Yeah.
Up next we have Avowed, Diablo 4, and Flight Sim 2024. Honestly,
Flight Sim most anticipated game of 2024.
I'm actually
of the
excited
year contender, boys.
Yeah. I'm actually excited for Avowed to come out, because that's Obsidian's new RPG.
I know some people have been kind of, I've heard some people be don't get too excited because this is current Obsidian, the same people that made Outer Worlds, and not necessarily the same people that made New Vegas, I guess.
Yeah, but it is being. But some of the writing team who made Pillars of Eternity is working on this, so.
Yeah.
And they are working on some of the hit detection because, like, in some of the footage that they showed back in like at the beginning of the year, it did look janky. So they are working on that before the game comes out. No release date though, unfortunately.
I personally don't have a deep opinion for a WoW, or at least for Obsidian, because WoW, I have played New Vegas. I never beat it, so there's that. I didn't play their other games like Outer Wilds or Worlds, whatever it's called, and their other titles that came out recently. So I have no positive or negative towards them, right? But that being said, though, if a WoW is what I think it is, because sorry, I completely forgot what it was, then it looks interesting. But
It's basically
gonna be
like
hands-off.
like kind of like an Elder Scrolls clone. It looks.
Yeah, with
It
the
kinda
magical
reminds me of
shit,
that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is what I think it is. It does look interesting. I won't deny that though, but I'm not gonna. I'm not sway one way or the other.
I think it's a game that I'm gonna keep tabs on, right? Along with a few other games we've seen. But other than that, I'm like, it's whatever. As for like D4 and MS Flight Sim, it's like, fuck whatever.
Yeah, I don't. I have no opinion on D4.
I'll say this: I tried D4 2 days ago and I almost fell asleep. Like I can't play games like that anymore.
Yeah.
It make me bored.
Yeah,
D4 's
it's
an
Blizzard.
enforced
Fuck Blizzard.
Yep, very much.
Yeah, speaking of Blizzard, because the next game immediately, World of Warcraft.
I don't care anymore. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like I used to play WoW. Like it sucks because I used to be a big fan of WoW. I played it a lot in middle school. So I have admittedly some nostalgia for WoW. But it's just not what it used to be. I haven't played the game since the Wrath of the Lich King, and I have no idea what's going on with the game anymore. But yeah, it's just I'm shocked it's still going. Honestly, they're still releasing expansions.
I'm not, because it's still the most popular thing right next to Final
I
Fantasy
guess.
14,
Well,
so-
yeah. I guess it's just I guess it must be making the money. I guess it still has a pretty big player base, despite it being having been around for so long.
Yeah, despite losing a large chunk of the audience over the years, they're still the most played MMO out there, right next to Final Fantasy 14. So
I feel
that
like
shit ain't dying anytime soon.
I feel like the only reason they keep thriving is because like their player base is basically they're basically held hostage because like they're too attached to their stuff, right? So they don't want to move on to a different MMO. So
they also got WoW Classic, which is what the fuck is it?
Yeah,
WoW Classic is just vanilla WoW.
No, they've upgraded recently. You can pick between like first 4 expansions up to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, maybe just kind of going off of that. It could also be too that they have the I guess weird comparison, but like kind of like the Rainbow Six Siege effect, where like they drop a new expansion and they get new people to try out the game when all like certain people are like leaving the game because they don't like the changes that are coming with it, or they just fed up with how the company is handling that game. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, where like, yeah, you might have like people who are just up and quit for various reasons, and then you got a bunch of new people jumping in because they see new expansion trailer and they think, oh, that looks cool, I want to try it, right?
Hey, to my recollection though, the majority of the player base are actually old players, so that logic might not be too sound. Question mark?
Well, I'm saying like what's keeping it alive on top of just people who are like dedicated to it, right? Is also people just jumping in who are new, that just see a new trailer and just think that they should try it, right? That's all I'm saying. But aside from World of Warcraft, we have Dragon Age and Assassin's Creed Shadows, as well as Stalker 2.
Okay, for
Stalker, I'll just get the. Well, yeah, I'll just real quick. I guess I'll just get the the one good thing out of the way first. The Stalker 2 looks really good.
Yeah.
I love the original Stalker. I played like Shadow of Chernobyl, the other 2 games. I Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat. And Stalker 2 has been in development for like a long time, so I was highly anticipating it, and it looks like it's going to deliver. It looks like it's at least going to be an actual like next gen Stalker game. The problems that people had with the original games is just how janky they could be at times. Of course, mods address. Yeah, mods did a good job addressing that at least, because Stalker is, I would say, like next to maybe like the Fallout or Fallout games or the Bethesda games, like one of the most heavily like modded games. But the mods have actually did do a lot to improve it. But Stalker 2, it looks, from a gameplay perspective, it does look like the combat or the shooting mechanics look to be a little bit better this time around. It looks, a lot of the things that we're familiar with from the original games, it looks like they brought back for Stalker 2. So I'm pretty excited for it. I'm glad that it didn't get, shut down because of what's currently going on in Ukraine. And it's at least going to come out. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for that game. The other two games, though, not so much.
Yeah, actually, I want to get Stalker out the way real quick. I'm just going to say this right now. I have no investment in Stalker, so I'm not going to necessarily comment about it. So that's just going to be my piece on it.
That's
what
fair.
I originally want to say.
Yeah, I personally, I don't play these games, but I like hearing people talk about Stalker.
I will say, like, you might not necessarily be a fan of the gameplay, but if you like horror and you like, a really good atmosphere in games, you might find something to like, because the games do have a really kind of oppressive sort of atmosphere to them. Nothing really gets you tense, like, going out in the middle of the night and encountering like a bloodsucker or like other mutants just roaming around. I think the highlight of like the original Shadow of Chernobyl is when you go out into these like an abandoned laboratory, and you just encounter like telekinetic mutants and stuff, and it does. There's no dramatic build up to them either. You just kind of come across them, which makes it even more, kind of just even more disturbing. But yeah, I mean, they're they're not necessarily like labeled as horror games, but they have horror elements
They have their
to them.
moments, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've never played these games, but I do like listening to just people talk about them. So I know bits and pieces about Stalker, just from what I've heard. But again, I've never played
I have not played these games yet, but I am planning on playing through these games when before Stalker 2 comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
I got them on GOG a while back, so now that I have a proper
You can get
release
them all
date-
for dirt cheap too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Since we're kind of talking about these games in reverse order, at least for this set of three, I did want to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And Assassin's Creed Shadows, like, I'm very I'm very split in terms of like the gameplay, because half of it looks actually not bad for an Assassin's Creed game, and the other half is just like, it's very slow and sluggish. But nobody's going to want to focus on that. They're just going to want to focus on the fact that I'm criticizing the character that everybody seems to want to argue about right now, Yasuke, right? Because the gameplay for Yasuke is it just looks very slow and sluggish and very unpolished, and it doesn't look that good. It
is a Ubisoft game.
Yeah. Which, yeah, you're right. It is an Ubisoft game, so it's not like I can expect much out of that, right? But then going over to the other character, Naue, like, I honestly, like, I don't know why they decided to make this game about two playable characters. They should have just focused on Naue, because, like I said, I feel like her gameplay just is more fitting for an Assassin's Creed game, and especially with
it's more stealth based. It's more like a stealth gameplay.
And with the mobility options that they give her and stuff like that, I feel like that's the gameplay that they should have made the game around, and nothing more, right? The reason why like like at least Yasuke from a gameplay standpoint is just to cater to the people that enjoyed games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Valhalla in particular, where stealth was kind of just, yeah, like it existed, but like it was more of a suggestion. They more so were in favor of you just kind of going brute force and just fighting your way through everything because of the settings for those games, and especially in Valhalla's case. So it's understandable why the gameplay for that character is there. It's to cater to that player base that enjoyed those games. But I think it honestly, I feel like it hurts the game more so than anything. I feel like they really should have focused on more stealth-based gameplay, which is kind of funny because I know we've talked about it before, where like Mirage, the game that they were advertising as the quote-unquote like return to classic gameplay or whatever, shouldn't have been the game that they picked for that gameplay style, as weird as that sounds, given the setting and the characters and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother thing. So that's my take on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm very very conflicted on that game, but I'll probably end up playing it when it's on sale for dirt cheap anyway.
Well, barring the controversy around what's going on with Yasuke and all that shit, though, I'm just going to ignore that because that's already been brought up before in the podcast, and quite frankly, it's out of place for the topic at hand. But to get to the point, I do think the game actually looks pretty solid on its own merit. Now, I know it's a Ubisoft game, so you gotta keep my expectations in check, though. But yeah, I do think they got something on their hands here, right? I do agree with you, though, right? They did not need Yasuke. They could have just did all this with Nawe. Or whatever the fuck her name was, right?
Yeah,
they could have done what they. Yeah, they should have done what they did with which was her alone. Yasuke could have been like a mentor character, right? You didn't even make him playable. And because of his playable status right now, it actually created controversy, not because of his background, but more so he's doing things that a typical samurai of honor would not do. He would just go around and start beating up people, right? From my recollection.
He wouldn't stomp on their heads, for example, when killing them. He would behead them and bring, like, if he's supposed to be an honorable samurai, he's supposed to behead them and bring the heads to Lord Nobunaga or whoever he's serving at that point.
Well, I mean, they also got other basic things wrong as well with the game. Not even just the aspect of him not being like a samurai, but also just the way things look. And somebody pointed out like there's apparently there's a torii gate when you enter the village, which shouldn't be there. A torii gate should lead to a shrine. But for some reason, they're placed like at the village entrance, which is not right. So they got basic stuff wrong. So obviously, it just tells me the devs didn't really do any real like research or anything before they did any. They made the game. So
should have hired
I don't know.
Punch.
Yeah, I mean, it's like compare that to Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima. They went out of their way to study, Tsushima and the their traditions and everything before they made that game. As opposed to Ubisoft, which they really didn't seem to care. Without because I mean, it's some people were saying they somehow even like mixed in elements of like I guess Chinese culture with Japanese culture.
Which I don't think would be unrealistic considering things were kind of intermingled at that point as well. Mm. Well, like I'm not a historian, so I'm not gonna say what is right or wrong. I'm just going by what I'm hearing.
I mean, I'm not educated enough in this. I know people will say like, "Oh, well, Assassin's Creed is of course never been historically accurate," which is sure, but it seems like this time they've really like gone out of their way to just not. They're not even trying anymore.
But here's the problem, though, right? It is historical fiction, yes, but AC still process stuff are still being as accurate as possible. I mean, for fuck's sakes, they removed the crossbow in AC1 because they didn't exist yet at the time, to my recollection, at least in that region.
Yes.
So what's the excuse here? You know, so I'm like, I get the argument of like it is not 100% accurate across the series, 100%, but they still pride themselves of accuracy to a certain degree. If they had to take a liberty, though, it's very small liberty, like the Pope being dead and during AC to a brother, right? There's a point where he's actually supposed to die sooner, but they omitted that for the sake of the story, and it was to his benefit because the story writing was very quality for AC brother. But that being said, though, I can't say the same for modern AC, and it's like a Russian roulette of are you going to get a good story or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and going off of that point too, it's the idea that like they would pride themselves on historical accuracy. I mean, if you played any of the games in the past, they would have that like title screen come up like, hey, this game was, you know, trying to recreate aspects from history, but this is a fictional game, right? And you know, with fictional characters and stuff like that, but we, you know, they emphasized that they prided, they had pride in that, right? Even like some of the old dev diaries, you know, like they would talk about like, hey, like we pulled up maps from like this time period and stuff to like accurately recreate the like the streets and the buildings and stuff like that, so that way when you're going through these games, you're like actually going through like what was historically or historic period accurate for that time, what those streets and what those buildings might have looked like when you're like traversing through the game, right? And I think that's where people are very critical of like Shadows in particular, is that like, hey, like this game is just kind of like saying, hey, we don't give a fuck about that for the sake of this game because we're just doing it for a cash grab and not because we actually care to deliver a product that people might enjoy. It's kind of weird. It's like it almost feels like they're doing
Gaslight.
it more. Yeah, I don't know if you could say it's gaslight. Maybe it is, but like I would say it's more like they're doing the game just to say that they did it, but not because they actually care to do the setting. Because you know we've had times where they had people like Alex Hutchinson on board, right? And he was saying shit like, oh well, like fans come up with all the worst settings for Assassin's Creed games, and lo and behold, all the settings that he said that he thought fans came up with were boring literally have been made at this point, right? Or are in the process of being made. So, you know.
Jokes on him.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's weird. Like I said, I would probably give the game a shot when it's on sale for like dirt cheap, as I always do with these games, because I do play these games casually, but I have not paid full price for an Assassin's Creed game since the original release for Assassin's Creed 3. So yeah, I that's kind of where my stance is on it. But yeah, I'm very split on the gameplay. Just because like one side of the gameplay looks very rough and could use some work, and the other side of the gameplay actually looks solid and feels like what the whole game should have been like. But you know, we'll see how things go. And then there was Dragon Age, which I don't care about Dragon Age, so that this is all you guys.
It did not look good.
Well, I'm a casual Dragon Age fan, as in casual as in I never beaten all of them, but I played all of them. And for me, I'm like, I'm honest with you, it didn't look freaking terrible, but I feel like it missed the mark of what made Dragon Age. Like, you could have told me this is Fable, actually. I couldn't believe this is more of a Fable game than what we got at Fable, but, you know.
Yeah. It's also copying more Mass Effect, because the party size used to be four players plus the character, with the play included. But for Veilguard, it's player character plus 2 party members with you, dropping it down to Mass Effect size.
Oh, that's weird. I hope the characters compensate for that.
Yeah, I'd hope so too.
I come back to cope is what I come back to.
I don't know, like I'm not excited for it in the slightest, mainly because like I thought outside of Origins, like 2 and Inquisition was fucking mid, so it's just like
Yes, thank you. Martin is spitting.
yeah.
They had one. Dragon Age did not have the same streak as Mass Effect, unfortunately.
But yeah.
Hindsight being 2020, yeah.
Origins is good. That's it.
No, I
Alrighty.
firmly agree with that.
Uh,
Other than that, like AC and Stalker, I think you guys pretty much summed it up pretty well. I don't think I have anything to add there.
I have too many jokes to make about AC. Like it's too easy. Brandon's a walking joke. Look at him right now.
Okay, well, avoiding the stuff like that though, we were actually having a serious discussion about it because it was kind of getting a little too old with the controversial stuff. We were talking about the actual game.
Did you guys see the Digital Foundry thing?
No, but let's not
not.
talk about that right now because we're almost done. Just finish it up.
Okay.
yeah. So after that, we got Age of Mythology, Fable, and Mixtape, all of which I could give 2 fucks less about. So there's my 2 cents on those games.
Perfect Dark. I'm gonna be honest though, Bart, what's going on with the female character? I actually think the game looks pretty good.
I think we'll get to that in a second, but like, I just want to talk about Age of Mythology for a moment here. Like, I actually liked what I saw. Gotta give it a shot because I played the old game back in the day, so
please,
it's fun.
Oops.
Yeah. Other than that, I have nothing to add on Mixtape, and as for Fable, it's like,
And what hasn't been said at this point with Fable? My apologies. I jumped the gun a little bit. I thought you said Perfect Dark.
No.
Fable. We did get gameplay though, but it wasn't much. We didn't get a showcase, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not investing in Fable. I'm not a Fable fan, so personally, it's not affecting me. So I'm opt out to this one.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I like some things I saw in the trailer though. It's just like the protagonist doesn't click with me, and yeah, like we'll see.
How dare you?
I was just gonna say really quick too with Mixtape. I forget if it was shown before or after South of Midnight, which we're gonna talk about in a moment here. But it basically had the same thing going for it, where the frame rate just looked really bad. But I know that's potentially a design decision, like visual decision.
Mixtape. I don't remember how that looked though, but yeah, for South of Midnight, that was definitely intentional. I just hope it actually runs properly, not just it looks how it looks,
Yeah, like I just look when we get games like this, I just feel like okay, well, like we literally have consoles capable of 120 FPS, and we still have developers that insist on 30 FPS, like when 60 should.
Is the game actually 30?
Standard. I have no idea. I'm just going off of what the frame rate looks like based off of the character animations and stuff like that for both.
It's still gonna be 60 with that frame rate animation, so it. I wouldn't like compare the two, right?
Yeah. I guess since we're already talking about it, we have South of Midnight, Expedition 33, and Perfect Dark.
All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
What?
Perfect Dark.
I used to go away like what I do.
Go ahead.
Perfect Dark though. Okay, honestly, it looks pretty good. It actually looks pretty good. The gameplay is good. You got some Mirror's Edge parkour. No, I'm sure you guys know. I love Mirror's Edge. I love me some Mirror's Edge. And Perfect Dark might be the substitute for what happened with Catalyst, right? Now, it looks like it could be actually really, really, really good stealth, parkour, action game, whatever. I'm not sure if it's going to be faithful to actually Perfect Dark, but considering this is like a hard reboot of the franchise, it's everyone's game at this point, right? Now, I know everybody not liking the design of the character, which rightfully so. She looks nothing like how Joanne Dark looked. Not because they took away they took away the anime aesthetic or the Pixar aesthetic, right? They had going on for Zero, and with this uber realistic, right? Which personally I wouldn't have gone with. I would have gone with a more stylized look, so that way they could get the game out faster, But I digress. Though the game does look really good, and I do look forward to actually playing it personally.
I agree.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect
I
day.
think
Oh,
outside
okay.
of the way the main protagonist is designed, I think the game looks pretty fucking fun. So
This is a game I was kind of excited for. I like the original Perfect Dark. I didn't play Zero, but yeah, like as soon as I saw Joanna Dark and the new one, I was like, oh god, here we go again with the women getting hit with the ugly stick. But the gameplay was kind of like, I don't know. It didn't really do anything to really like blow me away necessarily. The original game is fun because it was made in like I think the GoldenEye engine, um, and it kind of plays similarly to that. So it was about as fun as the original GoldenEye was in that sense. Uh, but it is hard to kind of tell how fun a game is going to be just based on the just seeing some gameplay of it in regard to this. But a lot of what I saw looked, of course, incredibly scripted, and it didn't really give me a good feel of like how the game is going to be to actually play it. There was some interesting things they were doing with like the parkour elements. I thought that was kind of an interesting addition. I'm not exactly sure why they added parkour, but I mean, I guess we'll see how they implement it in the game.
It's made for someone like me because you weren't here when I was
Yeah,
saying this, but I love Mirror's Edge, so like I was like, okay,
yeah.
okay, you got me. I'm bricked up. Let's go.
Yeah, a lot of it just kind of came off very generic to me. Like I've seen a lot of games very much like this, and this didn't really do anything to really kind of stand out in any way. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be good, but I don't know. I'm very like mixed based on what I've seen of it so far. I want to see some actual gameplay because the thing is that I feel like what we saw here was not representative of how how it's going to be to actually play the game. It's
Too
obviously like a
scripted.
scripted segment, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to see some actual gameplay. So I feel like maybe the reason for that is because they're still very early in development, so they didn't really have any actual gameplay to show. So we instead just get kind of like the scripted, I guess, vertical slice gameplay, whatever you call it. Um, but yeah, I wasn't really too impressed. I mean, of course, I was already kind of turned off by the character, the redesign of Joanna Dark, which honestly just looks hideous, and gameplay just wasn't really doing much for me. So I don't know. My excitement has definitely gone down quite a bit since seeing that. But I guess we'll see. I want to, like I said, I want to see actual gameplay, and I feel like we weren't actually like maybe the parkour stuff might have been similar to what we'll see in the actual game, but most everything else, like I think, of course, like some of the gunplay, we'll see some certain elements of that in the game, but probably not how it was presented to us in what they showed. But yeah, I just want to see what it's actually going to be like to play it.
Yeah.
You actually activated like a little neuron though. Now, this is not me coming at you or anything, right? Just to make that clear. But I'm not sure if it's fair to call Perfect Dark generic when Perfect Dark, the original, was basically a clone of another game, right? That's an interesting like a little tidbit there. I'm not sure it's fair to call it generic when the original is not that original in grand scheme of things. At least with here though, they are taking different elements from other games like Deus Ex and Mirror's Edge to make a different enough game from the general landscape. Oh, I don't know.
I mean,
Am I overthinking it or?
I mean, I meant that mostly in the sense of that it's not necessarily anything like it's not anything really like that. I mean, yeah, like you said, it did seem like it was taking elements from some of those games. I guess if you could look at it that way. But yeah, I mean that is true. Like the original game it wasn't the GoldenEye engine. But I don't. I do think it did enough to kind of stand out and be its own thing at the same time. So I'm not sure. Maybe generic's not necessarily the right word, but it didn't really the gameplay, like the main problem I
Playing too
had with
safe?
it is just that it's not it's like I've mentioned before, it's too scripted, too on rails. Like it's not representative of what you're actually going to be doing in the game, most likely. Um, and I just wanted to see more of that. I didn't really want to see like a a scripted sequence like they showed off.
Right.
But again, I think that the reason for that is because they weren't really probably far enough along in development to actually show anything like that. But that's kind of where I guess my main issue was with it, was that it just and what they showed just it seemed like, yeah, like you said, like now that I think about it, it did seem like kind of a mishmash of not only Mirror's Edge, but certain elements of other games kind of just blended together. But I don't know, not in the best way. I don't know. I like it might feel different to play it than it does to actually like see it. Because I think the main thing as well for me was that it didn't seem like it was going to be like that. It seemed like it was a little bit almost like too easy to kind of just like, mow down guys and like, and you aren't really, it didn't really seem like there was much of a challenge there from what I was seeing. But I mean, maybe they're just showing, that's just to sort of show off mostly the gunplay or whatever. But I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm 50-50 on the game. It could be good, but I'm not really that hyped for it.
I just want to ask though, because like I wasn't trying to like do a call or anything, right? I'm just generally curious about it, right? Because personally, I've not played the original Perfect Dark. I won't get disclosure, but going by how the game developed though, it was too similar to GoldenEye. So I'm like, I want to point that out. That's all. Let's take a discussion.
I found it very similar, personally. Yeah. I had played both of them. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that like, it didn't have its own identity, because it sure as hell did. But yeah, they do play very similar, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. And then...
Apologies for that tangent. I just had to bring it up. That's all.
So I do want to kind of speed things up a little bit, because we're borderline on like 4 hours on this podcast.
Oh my fucking
God.
It's a lot of games. A lot of games.
Yeah. But so I did want to kind of skip ahead. So we won't bother talking about like Shattered Space, more relevant than Crash 3. I mean, State of Decay 3 and ESO, or and we won't bother talking about like Fallout, Life is Strange, Sea of Thieves, Atomfall, Flintlock, Winterborough.
Oh, actually, I want to touch on Life is Strange real quick. It won't take long.
Okay.
I've never been so disappointed in a series falling off so hard in my life. I actually like Life is Strange 1. Even if when it turned to meh territory in the later episodes like 4 and 5, I still overall liked it, right? I can't say I hated it, right? But series 2 and True Colors, I'm like, I'm checking out. Fuck this shit.
So that series have always been a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine, because like I'm on board with you on 1. I pretty much agree with what you said there, right? As for like the rest of them, they're like, the writing is so bad that I kind of have a blast playing them.
Especially for
I get, like, the room
series
effect.
2.
Yeah, like I get the room effect playing them. It's fucking funny. But yeah, like so just because of that, I'm on board with this one. I want to see the dumb shit we're gonna do with it.
Yeah,
right.
I just if anything, I just want to see Chaos's sequel game. I mean, what?
Captain Spirit game.
Yeah, we need to have another meme game of you. I mean, what? Well,
I mean, I will say that I'm actually surprised that they're going back to the protagonist of the first game for this. Like, but I don't know who cares anymore, to be honest. Like, there's been, we had Life is Strange 2 and True Colors, and yeah, I don't think, I mean, the first game, it wasn't even really, I mean, a lot of people kind of, it was kind of just memed on it. So, I mean, it wasn't really a great game in the first place. But then, they kept going with the series. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, why are we still, like, I'm just kind of at the point where I'm like, why is there another Life is Strange game?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
The dialogue for that game is like some woke Tumblr cringe, so I just ignored it.
Yeah.
I know there's a certain niche crowd that fucking loves those games for whatever reason, so I think that's what keeps them going.
Yeah, I did too until they made more and they made them worse. So yeah, love them. I'm good.
I can't wait for the antagonist to be another white guy.
I can't wait for another wall. But anyway, ignore that. Let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're gonna skip a lot of these other games, especially especially Fragpunk, because that was like another hero shooter with cards. I don't know if you guys want to talk about Wu Chang, which I think that was one of the.
Okay, I actually should post a gameplay about that. That game is such a Diet Sekiro Soulsborne type game. Is painful. That looks like shit.
Was that the Bloodborne parry? What the fuck?
Yeah, that shit is so. The character looks cool, but that's about it. Like that frame rate, the jankiness, like that looks like ass, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, China! Come on, China! Just I praise you. You start stealing shit again.
It's basically, Mom, can I get Wo Long? And Mom says, no, we have Wo Long at home. Wo Long at home is Wu Chang.
Yeah, this goes back to what I said earlier, that I'm starting to get burned out on this like action games that play like this. Like it's just there's so many of them. And they're all
I've been on this train. I want just normal action games, no souls, no any souls like anything, please. No more of that shit.
No posture meters.
No, I don't care about the mechanics though. I'm saying before I say it again. Stop making them bad. If they were so good, we wouldn't have this problem. That's the problem. We have so many bad ones.
Yeah.
Way too many. Like, needs to stop.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, copy something else already.
I do want to see real quickly though, because we kind of skipped over it a little bit. Like, Expedition 33 looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah, we did skip that. My bad.
Yeah. No, I thought it looked good. I was very surprised that it being turn-based, but I mean, we'll see how it turns out. I thought it looked pretty promising.
Yeah, that was a big fucking shock when they revealed it was turn-based. When I thought it was gonna be like DMC.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Ben Starr. He's gonna be in this game too. Where's it, Clive?
Sorry, what game?
Expedition 33.
What's that playstyle for that game? I don't remember it actually.
A turn-based. Looks like Persona.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that one.
It's Persona in the Unreal Engine.
It was. I think they were going for the same thing as Metaphor, where it had some action segments, but some turn-based segments as well.
Yeah, the attacks you do in this game are more. It's more like Paper Mario. It's more involved. It's timing based.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess the main thing we want to talk about, of course, is Metal Gear Solid. Super hyped for that game. It's so weird because like when you look at this game and you look at how Konami is treating this remake with the team that they're outsourcing it with, like it's so night and day compared to Silent Hill 2 remake. It's like, why aren't we getting the same type of treatment with Silent Hill 2 remake like we are with Metal Gear Solid?
Silent Hill 2 at home.
Yeah, basically what we have is Silent Hill 2 at home with Silent Hill 2 remake. So I'm super excited, and I know like there is going to be like some gameplay enhancements where you can play it basically like MGS5, which hey, I'm not complaining. I think mechanically speaking, MGS5 was pretty good. They probably like smoothed out some more animations, did a little bit more to make it feel more appropriate for MGS3, which I'm all for. And if anything, if nobody likes that, or let me rephrase, if somebody doesn't like that particular playstyle, well, there's legacy style, so everybody wins. So I think it's great.
I am the one who wins. I win. I got what I wanted. MGS5 and MGS3. Perfection.
Were you?
Liquid.
Moist.
Also, this will solve my one complaint, which I have with as much as I love original MGS3. I absolutely despise CQC controls. I think it's actual dog water.
Thank you.
MGS5 easily, by far, has all the same options that 3 has, except, a control scheme that makes sense.
Well, MGS5's MGS5 CQC is basically a expanded upon CQC system from not Portable Ops, Peace Walker.
Peace Walker.
Yeah, Peace Walker. Because Peace Walker streamlined it for the better. Because Peace Walker is a fucking fantastic CQC system, and 5 all it did was like, hey, it's that CQC system, but then if you like do rapid button presses or rapid tap that button, basically you have additional moves that you could do, basically making it more viable compared to previous iterations of Metal Gear Solid, which is I think it's great, and I would like to see a more streamlined system for every Metal Gear Solid game if they were to remake those games in the future, right? Outside of 3.
I lost my shit when in the actual trailer they showed they cut to him just being Rambo mowing people down with a machine gun.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like,
like, oh my god, yes.
I was like,
That's your
damn, who
biggest
did they
rating down.
record? Did they record a Sotelius doing a playthrough?
No, they got a certain somebody that thought it was his kind of game.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he'll use the shotgun again.
Oh, wait. Daring are we? I see. Okay.
Alright, I guess we can move on.
But yeah, 3 has solved my issues that I had with Delta, I should say, has solved my issues at the original game, so I can't complain. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprising.
Can't wait for Sigma.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 1 Sigma.
Yeah, I would really like to see what they could do. Like, I'm sure they'll probably end up doing more Metal Gear Solid remakes, because this one looks really promising, honestly. And,
They're gonna have to, yeah.
like,
I would assume 1 would be next, just chronologically.
Chronologically?
Or
well,
wait, no,
if
it
you
would
go-
be who would it be?
Portable Ops.
If they go by number series, then yes, 1 would be on next, right? So, but if they gonna want to do the whole series, then they gotta go with Portable Ops and Peace Walker.
Yeah.
Speaking more, I guess, realistically, or what would be more likely. Not that
More
there's anything
likely,
wrong with Portable
1.
Ops, but yeah, I would. If you made the pick between Portable and 1, of course they're going to say 1.
I mean, if they combine Portable Ops and Peace Walker into one full-on game, that would make the replayability greater already. Because you have another campaign on top of Peace Walker plus the extra op stuff. If they could keep the online component.
Yeah.
I'm actually most interested. I know we're side tangenting. 2 is the one I want to see the most remade.
Yeah.
2 is probably the most interesting to me next to 3.
Yeah.
My favorite
love
would be
2.
2. Between 2 and 3, I prefer 2 personally. I don't know. I'm that guy.
See, and while I agree with all of these opinions, I think the 2 games that need to get remade are the first 2 Metal Gear games on MSX, because of how because of how dated they are compared to even the original Metal Gear Solid, right? Like,
Painfully dated.
yeah. So like, I feel like
I could not beat the first game without a guide. Like there was no way. Not going to happen.
So I feel like those are the games, like, if Konami decides, hey, if we're just going to be remaking Metal Gear games, right, in general, right, and they're not really concerned about like chronological order or remakes or anything like that. Although based off of the interview that David Hayter did with the current producer for Metal Gear Solid, it kind of just seems like they're more interested in focusing on getting people to experience the story from the very beginning, and that's why they chose 3 in particular to remake. I do think that those Metal Gear games would be the more ideal games to remake. Who knows? Worst case scenario, they fucking remake Snake's Revenge. I mean, what?
And before they pull up and they remade Rising.
Yeah, fucking remake. Give me a sequel.
Yeah,
That would
or
be
just
fucking
or
hilarious.
remaster.
No, that would be fucking hilarious if they remade 5.
Oh, dude, I'm not putting.
Oh,
it past
Fuck
them.
off.
I will.
Dom
not
will
put
be
it
there.
Past them. Like, I'm telling you now, they would probably remake 5. Like, and they would justify being like, oh well, like, because the old 5 didn't have RTX, and we have this new engine, and Fox engine is outdated and stuff. So,
Crap it
but
up.
that being all said, I think we're we're about time to wrap things up. So, we're going to go ahead and do outros for this very long podcast. Starting off with Mr. Brandel. Where can we find you, good sir?
You can find me on X. On X as ImmortalBrandel. And my likes are unfortunately private, and my link tree bio are link tree in my bio, and yeah, okay, just fuck off. You know where I'm at.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next up, DevilHunterJames. Where can we find you, good sir?
None of your business. I mean, on X. I mean, Twitter. I mean, oh wait, I was right the first time.
On X videos, baby.
Well, based on recent news, yeah, it won't even be a joke anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
After that, we got Mr. Eli. Where can we find you, good sir?
You can find me on Twitter at GammaAlias.
Yep. After that, Chaos. Where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at KaptainKaos. You can also find me on Instagram at Enigmatic Arts, where I post my art.
Mm-hmm. And then, last but not least, Martin. Where can we find you, good sir?
You can find me on YouTube /HowToBase. No, I'm kidding. No, you can find me on X under PsychoRender.
Yep. And then you guys know me as BioDevil_Dom. If you happen to not be watching this on YouTube, the links are in the description. I'm basically the same on everything, practically. There's going to be a link tree for all my stuff. Follow me there. This has been a stupidly long podcast, probably the longest one we've done.
Yeah,
So-
it's your fault.
Yeah.
It was
Look-
so long. I went to go eat dinner.
Look, is it really my fault when all these fucking shows happened all at once?
No, but it's your fault for wanting to do all of them at the same time. So
I just wanted to
I
get
mean-
it all done.
Yeah.
We didn't even cover fucking Ubisoft, so.
Oh,
What is there to
that was
cover?
my time.
And your
They
4
suck.
hours
Moving
of
on.
content.
Yeah, so, well, anyway, we hope you all enjoyed this extremely lengthy podcast, and we hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.